Hello to all my beautiful, beautiful non-Americans up in offline chat. Starting soon. Okay. It is a Wednesday. More dudes, if anybody remembers that good old classic scene. You Gopnik with natural light returns to you. A second day in a row. Talk about a Christmas miracle, an early Christmas miracle. How are we doing, my beautiful, beautiful souls? We are continuing with the glasses, Gopnik. Yes, the motherfucking beautiful Jaguar glasses made given to me straight from our brother Xi Jinping in China. How is it going? It's snowing? Pandas, oh my God, that sucks for you. It's like 22 degrees here. I'm wearing short sleeves, a little sun. I don't know. I fucked with the shirt. This is the first shirt that I have that's actually this color. And apparently I was hoping to be American free, but no, some Yanks are still in here, including the amazing Eco Waves, who apparently woke up at 2 a.m. and then I said, no, the stream is starting in an hour, and then it was 2 hours later, and yeah, that's some dedication. I approve. Nice color. It suits me. Thank you. It suits me, really? I don't know. It works. I guess it works. It works for you people. But yeah, Hugo trying to edge out his American mods, pretty much. Try to avoid wearing blue and white as it reminds me of the Zionist regime. Oh, Jesus Christ. So all... okay, because I have white on this thing. Okay, works. Though there's blue and white on most countries' flags, so don't let the Israelis have it, is basically what I'm trying to say. For some reason, this fucking platform didn't let me stop an ad, so a bunch of you are right now sitting there watching an ad as the show is starting. Very weird. It removed my snooze button. Very strange. But yeah, welcome to today's midday stream. Which we will be having at least once a week in the coming future to show respect to your European, African, Asian, and Australian beautiful, beautiful listeners. Obviously, we will be lower in number, but it doesn't mean we don't get to have some fun. Today, I wanted to talk about some relatively alternative topics, but also the most cliche of cliches. The cliche is obviously going to be the U.S. debt crisis, but the more interesting topics are going to be about crime and capitalism. Most specifically, there's a video called How the Crips Gang Actually Works. That is why I'm wearing blue, okay? Because I'm a Crip in the soul, baby, okay? Deep down, I've always been a Crip. I'm kidding. So yeah, how the Crips Gang actually works, and that's going to move us into a larger conversation about criminality inside the system, what we should think of it as Marxists, how it creates its own sort of capitalist framework outside of legal capitalism. Is there really any difference between the mob or any sort of gang as compared to large corporations? Plot twist. There is. They can't hurt as many people, but that's a topic for later. We're going to talk about why Americans can't keep their paychecks. We're going to talk about why Americans are falling behind on car loans. We're going to talk about the $6 trillion gap between Trump's and Biden's tax plans. And most importantly, we're going to talk about, you know what? About this. These walls, this. We're going to talk about communist blocks. I have grown up in a house up until I was 7. Then we moved to a commie block, and I've been living in a commie block to this day. Our dear friend Balkan Odyssey has made a video on commie blocks. I was thinking always of making one on the topic, but I'm not an architect, so we're gonna start with that most likely. I don't know if Sean the Black is in chat. Hello, Sean the Black. I don't know. There's some shout outs going on. But yeah, with that being said, thank you everybody very much for joining me on this sunny, sunny, beautiful morning, afternoon slash evening for the early stream. Hope I make your Wednesday feel as close to a Friday as I potentially can. And with that being said, tell me about my microphone levels and so on, if I should adjust them. We're gonna move into the main topic of the day. The first topic of the day, at least. And the first topic of the day is exactly that. Commie blocks are awesome, actually. A reply to Living Ironically in Europe and NFKRZ. A little bit of a background when it comes to my experience with commie blocks. This commie block that you see around you, right? This room used to be a kitchen. This used to be a kitchen area. This over there used to be kind of where you would cut stuff, where you would bake stuff and so on. This here is where the cupboards used to be from the owners that were previous owners than me. And it used to be like a separate kind of thing. Now we're getting westernized, and our kitchens are in our living rooms more often. But in most commie blocks, kitchens were a separate room, and if they were larger kitchens, you could also eat in them, right? This building that I am living in right now is built in the 1970s. It is not made out of these so-called panels, the way the cheapest buildings were built back in that day. I'm sure that Balkan Odyssey is going to touch on that. It's actually built out of brick because it was built around the 70s, 80s. This one particularly exactly in 1970. It has, I've shown you plenty of times on my Instagram stories when I go into the old Soviet elevator that it has. It looks like shit, the old Soviet elevator, but it also gives a pretty cool vibe that you're kind of going into an industrial area and then you open and enter more modern apartments such as this one. But yeah, I have lived in commie blocks my whole life. They have always been very close to greenery. This building I'm in right now, the reason I liked it so much is because it feels like it's just stuck in the middle of a park. There's trees 360 degrees around my building, right? I hear birds every morning, so you don't hear all your neighbors banging and brushing their teeth. No, not at all, because these buildings were built with walls that are this thick, around this thick, okay? And the new buildings they're building in the same country I'm in are this thick. It has been tested recently against earthquakes. This motherfucker will not go down from an earthquake that is 9 plus. The only minus is that it's aesthetically not as pleasing. Original owner I tracked down of this place was given the apartment for free. They were a dentist family. They were dentists. And they were given just the whole thing for almost quite literally no money. Evil communists building horrible architecture and giving it for free. How will we ever forgive them? Am I right? But anyways, that's it about this place. It's in a great location, surrounded by greenery. It's a great location, relatively close to the downtown area. Now, in most old European cities, all the new buildings are very much so outside of the center because there's no place to build them in the center. Or if they are building them in the center, they have to bulldoze something else, so that increases the price fivefold. I hear birds in the morning. When I have my cigar on the balcony, I'm literally surrounded by trees. There's a lot of insects though, because obviously it's surrounded by greenery, but I think I'll survive that, okay? It was planned very properly. There is a very large space in between absolutely every building, and that space is owned by the buildings themselves, so nobody can come and just build a building right in front of you, as they do very often with new buildings. As a lot of people will go and buy or rent something really nice, like rent it for 5 years because fucking assholes require that, or buy through a mortgage because it has a nice view, and then in 2 days somebody comes and builds a whole block in front of you, and the only thing you get to look at all day are your neighbor's balls whenever he wakes up in the morning. This does not happen here because the evil commies actually thought about that. And with that being said, let's actually go into the video and allow it to actually move the conversation further, shall we? Reminder to mods to change the name of the title as they already have. I'm very proud.
The Eastern European aesthetic.
Dude, this shit, like on Tumblr and on fucking Twitter and all the fucking rightoid dogs that have profile pictures of Greek statues, they use pictures like this of like the most rundown areas of all time to represent commie blocks. Most of them don't fucking look like this, okay?
The endless blocks of grey, decaying buildings, dead trees saggily rising from the mud, and teenage gopniks squatting with cigars and bottles of vodka, blasting
The good old days, bro.
hard bass music have become somewhat of a default factoid in
Not hard bass music, that's a fucking cringe meme.
online meme culture. Some may connect this imagery with a weird sense of nostalgia, but the main consensus, especially among Westerners, is that these so-called commie blocks are ugly, depressing, and horrible, and therefore an amalgamation of everything communism has to offer. Hell, even our fellow traveling content creator, living ironically in Europe, expressed his disdain towards this aspect of growing up in Serbia.
The worst of this happened in central and southern Serbia, as well as Kosovo, but it's very much present in Novi Sad, which before World War II looked amazing, and now if you go outside of the
This is so fucking cool. The Balkans have grown up so much. You know why? Because this is a based Serbian, which is Balkan Odyssey. I think he's a Bosnian Serb. So Bosnian by nationality, but ethnically Serbian. Talking shit, like a communist Bosnian Serb talking shit about a lib Westoid emigre Serb. The eternal struggle of our peoples. Speaking of eternal struggles, the eternal struggle of Twitch is ads. And an ad is going to play in exactly 1 minute and 20 seconds. If you don't want this constant interruption and you just want to continuously listen to my mellow and beautiful voice, then do consider subscribing for free through Prime or for only $5 a month. Support the show and enjoy an adless experience.
center, it's just... yeah. Which again is such a huge shame and really pains me, as Serbia could have been as pretty and had more tourists as other European countries if this wasn't the case.
One of the most popular Russian lore creators,
Thank you very much, Rebecal061 for the sub. Welcome, my brother.
No Fuckers, even went so far as to refer to them as
kind of like a plague that encompasses all of these territories and even goes as far as Western Europe, for example Germany.
But what if I told you that this impression
And thank you, Sheltered Rosebud, for the sub. Thank you, Ken. I feel like the audio of the video is a bit too loud.
is kinda misguided and maybe even a bit ungrateful? As
Very
someone who grew up
incredibly
in a-
ungrateful. These are people that Balkan people will, Eastern Europeans in general, will talk shit of commie blocks, but then go to the West and then talk shit about the West having all these quote unquote disgusting homeless people absolutely everywhere, not realizing that maybe there is a correlation between the two. Holy shit. Thank you very much, Sheltered Rosebud, for the resub. 2 months. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you kindly.
commie block myself and has done a fair bit of research about the actual logic and context behind Soviet urban planning, I'm sure that I can change your mind. Hell, I'm certain that by the end of the video, we'll agree that so-called commie blocks were actually a tremendous feat of urban planning and were nothing short of a miracle for the people who first got to see them and live inside them back in the day. But to help you understand why
I'm sure Balkan Odyssey is going to mention this, but as we're watching exactly this footage and these particular pictures of these blocks, most of them, we're talking Soviet Union, have been built in the 40s, like late 40s and 50s. So they're old, okay? So you're looking at old things that have not been refurbished because we entered a market economy, and there's no reason for the government to refurbish disgusting poor people's quote unquote disgusting poor people's homes, right? So a lot of the ugliness has a lot to do with the fact that it's just old, not necessarily the way it has been built.
Why anyone would ever claim such a preposterous thing, we'll first need to put things into perspective. More precisely, we'll take a look at the context in which these infamous buildings came to be. The first step in understanding the nature.
Why the fuck is my chat dead? What the fuck? The chat isn't moving. That is very strange. 1 second, let me fix that. The fuck? That's so weird. Window capture, chat. Okay. And now... Transform. 1 moment. Very weird. No idea when that happened. 0. There you go. Chat is re-available. Apologies for that. Very strange.
Nature of the notorious Commie bloc is to take a look at how things were before they emerged, at the time before socialism itself. We need to equate ourselves with the material conditions in Eastern Europe before the Communist Revolution took the world by storm, and how people actually used to live like in the various monarchist and Tsarist regimes. By all accounts and metrics, pre-socialist Eastern Europe, including parts of Asia included in the Soviet Union, as well as the Balkans, were and pretty much always have been far behind all of Western Europe. And by far behind, I literally mean over 100 years behind the socioeconomic developments and conditions of developed Western countries. While the West was industrializing and urbanizing, on the account of the wealth accrued through the process of primitive accumulation.
Yes, that is a big question. Why has the East not developed as fast as the West of Europe? Is it because Easterners are barbarian imbeciles who don't understand how to run a society properly, or because they weren't able to participate in good old mass imperialism, at least not to the same extent that Western states have? As Marx himself has stated, and as Lenin has later on exemplified based on events that literally transpired throughout his life, at one point, these markets were not self-sufficient enough, and the only way that developed industrial capitalist states can continue growth is through aggressive and active imperialism, and two things: pillaging of resources of other states, and the second one, opening new markets internationally to which they exclusively can sell to. Eastern European Slavs in particular didn't participate in this, at least not to the same extent. The Russian Empire is a different conversation, and therefore could not create the standards that the West, quote unquote, enjoyed, even though the West also pretty much lived in slums up until the 19th century, but the wealthy lived a very, very, very good life. Thank you very kindly, Chapstickless Bean, for the sub. Welcome.
Which was fueled by centuries of colonial and settler colonial plunder and exploitation. The rest of the world, including Eastern Europe and Asia, had a very different path of development. While the West benefited, they were in fact on the receiving end of the emerging force of capitalist imperialism. All of their natural resources, as well as their agricultural and basic industrial produce, were in various ways being used and exploited for the needs and interests of primarily Western imperial powers. Nothing about their backwardness and maldevelopment was of their own making, however. As capitalism was ripening beyond its monopoly stage and beginning to...
Not to mention, and if we're talking about the Balkan Peninsula in particular, it was itself a colony. It was itself colonized by the Ottomans and existed as both vassal and colonial substates of the Ottoman Empire for between 350 and 500 years, depending on the Balkan tribe, if we want to use that kind of sentence. It not only was not doing imperialism, it lived under imperialism.
To transcend the national confines of countries such as the UK, France, and Germany by the year 1900, Eastern Europe and Asia were stuck in archaic conditions, with a semi-feudal, purely agrarian economy that had very little to no industrial output and was in many ways dependent on Western capital, which was ruthlessly expanding at their expense. This was of course done with the help of local comprador elites, which sold their souls and their nations to the whim of Western capital, in exchange for unchallenged local rule, as long as they behave and maintain the system that degrades and exploits their own people. For more insights into how this crucial historical stage shaped the destiny of all Eastern European countries and their eventually depressing and grey socialist aesthetic, take a look at my video on the question of why communism is so depressing and grey.
We'll watch that afterwards. That's a good idea.
A more focused perspective, you might also find my video on the history of Yugoslavia quite interesting, and for a more modern context, make sure to take a look at this one. The conclusions of any of those videos can help us answer the key question of why Eastern Europe was so poor and backward to begin with. With that cleared up,
again, lack of participation in colonialism, and when it comes to certain Eastern European states, literally them being colonies, okay?
it quickly becomes clear why communist revolutions first happen in that impoverished second and third world in the imperial periphery, and why commie blocks sprang like mushrooms after rain precisely there and not in the West. It shouldn't then be surprising that with such a geopolitical predicament, the laboring population of these countries was living in very archaic and primitive conditions. The vast majority of people were peasants, living in villages, with little to no basic infrastructure and access to basic utilities.
And yes, chat, those who know, I'm still waiting on my fucking air conditioning for this room. God fucking damn it. The communists in 1950 didn't think about putting in air conditioning in my building. Goddamn fucking communists. That is literally the mentality of half the fucking Balkanoids that I know, dude.
Transgenerational living spaces with shared outdoor toilets.
Literally every problem that we have is because we were communists for 50 years. Even though almost literally everything that we do have, we're still milking whatever's been left over by the evil gommies.
Were the norm. The few that lived in the cities got to experience all the wonders of early capitalist industry and its cramped and inhumane working and living conditions, often accompanied with raging homelessness and pauperism. Housing solutions were insufficient, ineffective, and owned by a small minority of parasitic landlords. The October Revolution and subsequent civil war, necessitated and summoned by decades of Tsarist misery, exploitation, and poverty, combined with collective efforts of Western nations to drown the revolution in blood and destroy the Soviet Union through invasion and all imaginable forms of sabotage, only deepened the already dire situation.
Like you know, if you want to talk in video game terms, starting up the Soviet Union after the Civil War or after the Revolution, whatever you want to call it, was like playing Elden Ring, but patching it so that it has difficulty levels, and then playing on a difficulty level that restarts the whole game if you die, and gives 300% more HP and 300% more damage to every single enemy and every single boss in the game. That was trying to establish the Soviet Union. And trying to establish Yugoslavia was almost as hard, but not as hard. But it was, again, almost as hard because the revolution was happening as World War II was happening. So Serbs, Croats, Bosnians, Albanians, Slovenes, and so on were fighting Nazis while they were fighting in parallel their own comprador class, their own traitors.
German invasion of the Soviet.
Very easy. And here we sit and we're like, oh my God, it's so difficult to make it the socialism. Very difficult to make it the socialism. Meanwhile, some fucking peasant from Prizren is out there shooting Nazis and local traders at the same time, fucking singing the Internacional, blядь.
Soviet Union in June.
We have it so hard, guys. I mean, we have it hard, but in different ways, okay?
1941. Made an already intolerable housing situation even worse. The war caused widespread poverty destruction in the eastern part of the USSR. According to Soviet figures, 1,710 cities, towns, and urban settlements were fully or partially destroyed, as were many thousands of villages. More than 25 million people were left homeless. Leningrad, Kiev, Minsk, Smolensk, Stalingrad, and other cities and towns had to be almost completely rebuilt from heaps of broken brick and rubble. Solutions were needed quickly. What these Eastern Bloc countries didn't have compared to Western Europe was the privilege of American loans, aid, and capital. Those divine spoils that managed to reset German industry in no time and realigned all Western European productive forces with American.
That's exactly what the West intended to do immediately after the war. They needed to show the entire world that choosing the socialist path is not only dangerous because we're going to come in your country and kill your democratically elected president, but it's also going to hurt you financially, because if you join our side, we will fucking bury you in money. And that is why we've seen far faster development in the western part of Europe right after World War II. But that's far faster, not adjusted to the money they had. If we adjust to productivity, the fucking East was incredibly impressive because of unionized labor, not in the capitalist terminology, but literally people would just gather in the hundreds and hundreds of thousands, and they would go and rebuild roads, they would rebuild buildings, they would build new buildings, etc., etc. And in return, they would have shelter and water and food, etc., etc. Not for profit. People were just rebuilding their country because they wanted to fucking rebuild their country, and the state gave them the infrastructure to do so. But obviously in the West, they will also call that like forced labor or some shit. Okay, then both grandpas and both grandmas were victims of forced labor, even though to this day they, except my rest in peace, my one grandpa, they with incredible pride talk about those worker actions, as they were called, when they were going and helping rebuild decade through decade all the was lost to the fascist dogs, right?
American capital interests, concretely manifesting itself in the form of the European Union. The Eastern Socialist Bloc was not only excluded from the famous Marshall Plan, but was actively cut off and excluded from all European economical and political currents. The beginning of the Cold War meant the advent of isolation, embargoes, political pressures, and efforts at sabotage and subversion against the newly established socialist states, despite their valiant and incomparably tragic sacrifice and heroism in the fight against fascism. With no American capitalist sugar daddy or wealth accumulated through centuries of colonial plunder, the socialist bloc had to find its own solutions to kickstart the economy, build their productive forces, industrialize and urbanize as quickly as possible.
In
As
the same
Joseph
way,
Stalin is often quoted saying,
the Twitch streamers have to create their own organic means of supporting themselves. And if it was only up to Twitch streamers without the great Marshall Jeff Bezos, that would be exclusively through subscriptions. But unfortunately, Jeff Bezos insists on ads. And an ad, because of that reason, is going to play in exactly 3 minutes. But do not be afraid. You can help rebuild this great Ugopnik Twitch socialist Twitch state by becoming a subscriber for free through Prime or for $5 a month, and avoid all those pesky ads. Let's build this beautiful state together. Thank you for your consideration. That was a 10 out of 10.
50 to 100 years behind the advanced countries. We must make good this distance in 10 years. Either we do it, or they crush us. The accompanying force to this unfathomable industrialization of the ravaged and backward economy was the proletarization of the majority peasant population, which led to the rapid urbanization of old and new economic centers. This kind of dramatic ethnographic shift, of course, required effective and quick urban planning. So, considering this context, the Soviet-era urbanization projects, which occurred in several phases from the 30s to the 1980s, were fascinating to say the very least. These ambitious undertakings transformed ravaged post-war ruins into thriving metropolises, which managed to house pretty much everyone, with virtually zero homelessness to be seen in any former socialist state.
Fucking evil, man. Absolutely fucking evil. How dare they remove homelessness? Because they did it with ugly buildings. I am very, very smart, young Eastern European man. You'll be surprised just how many people would hold this opinion, like, unironically.
The Soviet Union undertook one of the most massive centrally controlled and planned policies for human and industrial resettlement in history. Since 1926, the Soviet government had built more than 1,400 new towns in which more than 50 million people live, work, and play. During the first 5-year plans, it reached the highest urban concentration rate ever recorded before World War II in any major country. By 1977, the Soviet constitution officially guaranteed its citizens the right to housing through Article 44. Now, compare all of this to modern, peacetime capitalist economies which have all of the necessary resources and housing units to house absolutely everyone, which lay completely vacant, while there are millions of homeless and jobless people lying on the street.
And only that argument should be enough to convince absolutely everybody that the market economy is not optimized. That just letting corporations react to demand and then consumers reacting to the product offered by the state, that's the libertarian dream, right? Libertarian dream, will eventually satisfy all consumer needs. Well, first of all, it's absolutely disgusting to call somebody who wants a home a consumer. Okay, they just want a home that is supposed to be a human right for absolutely everybody. Shelter is literally one of the bottom tiers of the Maslow pyramid of needs. But even if we were to call them consumers, it's not satisfying it. Ain't nobody got a home. Even those who do have a home, like I have a home, I have a fucking mortgage to have this home. Everybody else either rents or lives on the streets or has like 20 fucking roommates. So even from the perspective of just like from the exclusive perspective of the market operating well, the argument dies off. At least when it comes to housing. And if it's not working when it comes to housing, literally one of the most important things we can think of, shelter, dude, shelter, my dude, then what kind of conversation are we supposed to be having about this thing in general? Being, you know, our new religion that we bowed down before.
So, how did they actually do it then? Well, the basis of those accomplishments is their political approach towards housing. Instead of focusing on maximizing landlord revenue and squeezing out as much rent out of tenants regardless of the consequences, socialist countries insisted on more humanist principles.
Hey,
like,
Kev Dog.
you know, providing everyone with a roof over their head, no questions asked. Despite many issues, drawbacks, and humanist challenges facing any industrializing society, compared to the state of affairs in the initial industrial revolution in the Western world, the Soviet approach turns out to be a lot more humane.
And again, to repeat,
Despite
all of these policies were being implemented in countries that have been completely devastated by the greatest war, the worst war that humanity has ever seen. So not only were they changing the system, but they were changing it inside of countries that were leveled to the ground, partially or fully. And this sort of shit was achieved.
Corruption and bureaucratic abuses, due to still existing social stratification, they nonetheless focused on assuring equal opportunities for housing, equalizing the standard of living of different social groups, creating the working class basis for provincial cities, etc. In the Soviet view, objectives of planning on a massive and comprehensive scale are founded on a philosophy that regards the satisfaction of human and social needs as the primary objective. As it was agreed upon back then, the whole science of city planning must be placed in the service of man. Even though this utilitarian approach often clashed with individualist desires and lacked many charms of organic urban development, all socialist countries ended up providing both very affordable housing and a very high rate of home ownership to millions of people. Both of these concepts are pretty much inconceivable.
Yeah, but we can't be talking about fucking organic architecture or organic city planning or access to more luxurious sorts of apartments and houses, etc., in a state which is, again, rebuilding after the worst war that is ever seen by humanity and trying to implement a new system in place. What they managed to accomplish in regards to the situation they found themselves in and the problems that they were facing is borderline magical, absolutely fucking insane. And that is compared to the market logic that it will eventually get everybody a home, which we'll very literally see with our own eyes does not work, maybe should push us towards questioning the very idea of how housing as policy should be treated. And that even social democrat Yugopnik walking into the room should not at any point be commodified. Homes should not be commodified. Maybe you can have like better homes if you're a better professional and then you earn it, etc., because you're contributing to society more and so on. But that conversation can only be had after there are literally zero people on the streets. After every single child has a fucking room to play in and has a fucking bathroom and has a place to study.
To the modern working class person, whose place of residence isn't placed quote-unquote in the service of man, but in the service of landlords and capital. So, how exactly did they solve the insane housing shortage? Well, for one, mass-owned housing units of the local bourgeoisie and aristocracy were expropriated and redistributed to those in need. The leeches and parasites of society had lost their massive properties, so that everyone who actually works gets a roof over their head as quickly as possible. On the other hand, the entire process of creating housing units was standardized and industrialized, fueled by innovative architectural and urban planning solutions which solved issues of efficiency, price, and speed. Thus began the industrial production of standardized, prefabricated concrete panels on a massive scale.
And that is where we get the panel blocks as we know them, and that is where all the Tumblr posts about, oh my god, Eastern European aesthetics, girl, yes. That's the ones we're talking about. So for you in the West, there's panel blocks, which they would make the walls pre-prepared in factories. They would create what holds the building together, pre-prepared in factories. They would come together and they would put it together as if it's Lego, okay? The Soviet Union was playing with Legos, if that's easier for you to understand. But later on, as it was developing, they started using different mechanisms and different systems to build their buildings. In the beginning, they were using, again, this sort of system because they needed to get everybody off of the streets after they were blown to bits by Nazi dogs, okay?
Which could be shipped and assembled very quickly without the need for skilled labor, despite delays and abuses in bureaucratic decision-making. And so, the infamous Khrushchevka, Brezhnevka, and all other subsequent variants were born. Quality was to be sacrificed for quantity. Khrushchev asked, "Do you build 1,000 adequate apartments or 700 good ones? And would a citizen rather settle for an adequate apartment or wait 10 to 15 years for a very good one?" The leadership must proceed from the principle of using available material resources to satisfy the needs of the people as soon as possible.
And that is an absolutely adequate logic to have in the period in which they were building. If socialism was allowed to develop in the states where the socialist experiment attempted to develop, we don't know what kind of level it would have reached and what kind of housing it would be giving to its population, okay?
So as
always look at things in the context of the material conditions in which it is developing. Let's choose that as the thing I'm going to be hammering into your head on this fine, fine day.
bland as these blocks may seem to us from a modern Western perspective, they were a testament to hitherto unseen sociological progress, led by a doctrine of scientific functionalism. The approach included 4 general but basic elements characteristic of socialist urban planning, namely standardization, proper size of a town, the city's center, and the neighborhood unit concept.
But we don't like them because they didn't pass the vibe check, okay? They didn't pass the vibe check. They don't got, a lot of glass on them. which don't get me started on that. I can't wait to see how all the fucking corporate glass buildings age without reinvesting $1 million every year just to fucking wash that shit. Okay. If capitalist quote unquote buildings, which is a fucking stupid sentence by itself, were to have been renovated at the same pace that these have been, which means a zero, especially since the 90s and since the fall of socialism, they would look equally as shit. Okay.
All of them more closely explained in this paper. Besides a few suboptimal examples, they encouraged communal housing and coexistence, and bonded local communities in a way completely alien to modern capitalist housing solutions. The proposed collective way of life, with its concentration of state-owned public services, led architects to invent a dom comuna, or house commune, which was practically a dormitory for workers. A house commune was to be equipped with all the facilities for living, including cultural and sports facilities. The broader city blocks were essentially self-sufficient subregions that were centrally planned to have everything one could ever need on a daily basis nearby, accessible, and in walkable distance. Assembled buildings were fitted into a designed housing district that the Soviets called a microborough. The microborough consists of residential superblocks and was conceived as a self-sufficient unit containing the essential social and cultural services.
But I'm very proud of fellow socialists because we're throwing the same fucking rhetoric back at the Yanks, right? With this, what is more depressing than capitalist architecture? Okay, and I love the architecture civil war that is always going on. But the most interesting aspect of it is that real architects, people with degrees in architecture, people who are working in the so-called industry, right? They are almost always supportive of these evil commie blocks. And guys that have never laid a fucking brick in their life, never sketched out a fucking barn, okay, with all those ancient Greek fucking statue profile pictures over on Twitter, they're losing their shit over the disgusting, depressive nature of the brutalismus bad, okay? So yeah, people who are actual architects are like, what the fuck are you talking about? But no, the other guys get likes because, haha, look at ugly commie block. I'm a very smart man.
For as many as several 100,000 people. Microboroughs.
Dr. 7557, I live near that picture, lol. Jesus Christ, you're so fucked. Oh God, bad.
Were to be located on the peripheries of city cores, to which they would be tied by transportation arteries, and to which they would look for the major administrative, commercial, and cultural services. These connections were often achieved with reliable and cheap public transport, often on a very massive scale. Take Moscow's incredible metro system as a prime example of this. Close proximity to rural lands, water bodies, and forests would provide for interaction with nature. The inclusion of vast spaces, greenery, sports facilities, parks, and playgrounds made them a lot more livable and humane than many modern, low and medium income neighborhoods found both in advanced and quote-unquote developing capitalist countries and ex-socialist ones, which recently underwent capitalist restoration. Nowadays, you will often find these shiny, polished, modern-looking apartment complexes with, in reality, astronomical rent prices, cramped spaces, little sunlight, bad connections and overall traffic flow, terrible infrastructure, drowning in concrete and parking lots. Take these shameful scam apartments in modern Russia, mentioned by No Fuckers as an example. Those have exactly zero excuses for failure, and yet manage to under-deliver compared to efforts of the USSR of almost 100 years ago in unfathomably harsher conditions. For an example of inhumane, profit-oriented, and irrational urban planning in the developed world, you need not go any further than the infamous American suburbs, which have been criticized countless times here on YouTube. But the reason for this dichotomy is actually very simple. In the Soviet Union, housing is regarded primarily as a social good, while in the United States, it is treated essentially as a commodity.
Always as a commodity.
Opposed to these displays of supposed capitalist innovation and modernity, in the new settlements and cities that were built from the ground up in the Soviet Union, the underlying theme of every
Man, I love Balkan Odyssey so fucking much, and these videos are so fucking good. And I absolutely understand he should keep going with the vibe that he's going with. It's kind of dark, you know? But holy fucking shit, is it difficult to react to this shit on Twitch? Yes, the whole world revolves around Twitch streamers with the sad music in the background. God damn it, I'm trying to like amp you motherfuckers up towards a good life, baby. But the music just makes me, oh my fucking God, where's my gun? You know?
plan is that the city is
Machete to the throat right now.
planned as a single architectonic and social organism.
Yeah, Eduardo, some turbo folk in the background wouldn't hurt. Actually, fuck it. Oh no, but I can't find instrumental versions.
So that all the features are subordinated to a single comprehensive idea. Although the results are easily criticized for their homogeneity, uniformity, or monolithic appearance, the look of each district can be deceptive. One set of 10-story slabs with open spaces between could be a thriving, desirable area, with schools, clinics, and public transport better than anywhere in Britain. Another may be a grim, gradually subsiding post-industrial waste with rotting joints and minus infrastructure or...
Salam, brother Yugopnik. I'm planning on recommending your content to some of my students who are also Balkanoids. Fuck yeah. Call them Balkanoids as well. They will love that. They will absolutely love that. Maybe if you're their teacher, but I think they will like it. I think they will like it. I'm glad. Please do. Please do.
facilities.
Jesus, this is the music I'm talking about. Goddamn Balkan. Oh my God, pissing on my mood, bro.
The conditions and quality of these housing units improved as time went on, with the very initial ones during the Stalin era personifying the dire state of affairs in those circumstances. But in case you're thinking how conformist and uncritical everyone in the USSR must have been towards these endeavors, think again. Soviet architects, government officials, and citizens are the harshest critics of Soviet housing construction. They complain about the dreariness of building design. One Soviet official explained the situation. There are many reasons for inferior work, but the most typical one is the desire to just get done with the project. The main thing is to hand over the building on or ahead of schedule. That is why quality is sacrificed right and left in the scurry to meet the deadline. When it comes to the size of living space, huge improvements were made compared to the initially dire situation. Housing was primarily measured by the number of square meters of quote-unquote living space per person, which includes bedrooms and the living room, but not the kitchen, bathroom, corridors, and storage space. Each of the 15 republics of the USSR had determined by law the minimum housing standards for its citizens.
I can smell this apartment. I can smell this apartment in a very good way. Jesus. I can smell my grandma. I can smell the food she's cooking in the kitchen. I can smell it. Oh, God. And I'm hungry. Now I am hungry. And you know what else I'm hungry for? Your subscriptions. Because an ad is going to play in exactly 1 minute. Avoid those pesky ads. Support this show for $5 a month or for free through Prime. And have an adless experience. Starts in 1 minute. Thank you. I can't snooze them.
In the 1920s, the per capita living space was de facto around 5.5 square meters per person, whereas by the 1980s it almost doubled to around 9.5 across the top 30 largest cities.
Kev Dog walking up in here and saving those motherfuckers from ads. 5 gifted subs at a time. Thank you very much. Kev Dog is a legend. 22nd gifted sub. I kiss your beautiful dog head, Kev. Thank you very much.
Apartments that had to be shared by several families at once could now be reserved for a single family living on their own, a significant improvement. Taken in their totality, though, these buildings were actually very robust, weather-resistant, with very good longevity, especially compared to the irresponsibly cheap half-ass buildings where Modern construction companies
But that's exactly this point is so funny that like modern construction in capitalist Eastern Europe sucks more. And sometimes it aesthetically looks the same as the old Soviet blocks, but it literally is not built as well, or it looks much better, but you can hear every time your fucking upstairs neighbor whips out their G-spot plug, okay? Like you have no like. You know how insane. Thank you very much, Kit Litzo, for the gifted sub. Thank you kindly, Kit Litzo. You know what kind of like a culture shock it was for me when I visited my aunt who emigrated to Switzerland for the first time. I was a kid, and I was a teenager, and I go to shower at like 7 p.m. and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, "Aunt, why are you angry at me?" She wasn't angry. She was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm just going to have a shower." And she's like, No. There are straight regulations on when you can have a shower in this building. I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "Because everybody in the building is going to hear your water." What the fuck? I'm like, "Does that apply to like you doing your dishes or your laundry?" She's like, "Yeah." Like the whole building is gonna shake, okay? They won't be able to sleep. I'm like, "God, how do you play loud music after 6 p.m.? She's like, I don't. Legendary.
cut corners by
But no, we're the third world. We're the fucking third world. You can't shower after 7. You want that freedom? I don't need that freedom. And thank you, Dr. Slippy, the legend. Another Nepo baby, which has become my beautiful, beautiful Pokemon. Thank you kindly for the gifted sub, baby.
saving on materials and ignoring safety regulations, for the sole purpose of turning a profit. But why do
Right now, I'm a streamer doing it from a commie block, okay? I'm literally streaming from a commie block. If I fucked up so much and bought like a fucking newly built shithole somewhere outside of town, I would not be able to do this. So, look me in the eyes. Look me in the eyes. Without commie blocks, there would be no Yugotnik Twitch. That by itself is enough of an argument in support of communist blocks. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Let's continue.
commie blocks look like shit and are rotting like a bag of potatoes nowadays then? Well, that's what 30 years of neglect looks like. The new capitalist establishment.
These commie blocks literally solving homelessness to almost solving homelessness. No. That is not why we support them. We support them because they have materially allowed for the development of degenerate Eastern European streamers. That's it, my baby, okay?
That
Dominating.
inherited them simply has no interest in maintaining or refurbishing the hub.
Fucking any like Twitch people listening to this now, they're like, okay, we must invest in Eastern European infrastructure because it allows the greater creation of the Twitch streamer phenomenon.
Housing units because it's just simply more profitable to build 10 fancy modernist apartment buildings that barely anyone can afford. They therefore let them crumble under the weight of time, giving them this distinctly depressing and dystopian look. This gives them yet another excuse to slander socialism for dystopianism, which they encourage with their own neglect. And the fact that these neighborhoods are nowadays the definition of Eastern European ghettos and slums has literally nothing to do with their social.
This is literally one specific building. I believe, in Bulgaria that is super fucked up. And also it's used in an insanely racist context because I think only Roma people live there and they're completely alienated from society and they're completely ghettoized and there's absolutely no infrastructure for where they can throw trash. So like trash accumulates right in front of the building and everybody hates them, but the state at no point comes and maybe helps these people get a job. This particular picture, I know it and I recognize it. This very, very same picture is constantly used on Balkan internet by racist dogs to show how Roma people live. So an additional yikes is what I'm saying.
Origin or that system's failures. It's directly a result of the societal rot and decay.
Quick, get some EU grants for the development of Twitch streamers. My brother, here in Eastern Europe, all countries that have joined the EU, I've heard of much worse and much edgier fucking rip-offs of EU donations, my boy. So many people have become millionaires just ripping off the fucking Eurocucks. It's fucking epic.
That came with the restoration of capitalism and disrespect and neglect towards everything that our peoples have achieved in socialism in those very tough times. This is not to say that there was not a degree of mismanagement and neglect on the side of the communists, though, especially in the later years. Far from it. But overall, with a little touch of paint and basic maintenance, these blocks can outshine even the most fancy feats of modern architecture.
There you go. Looks great. Looks great even to your fucking internet brain, right? This is okay. This is okay. God bless.
Architecture in functionality and
maybe, I don't know, maybe we should maintain the things that our forefathers have built for us. But okay, too scary word. Return to communism, that is, yes, da.
Even looks. A testament to the quality of these apartment buildings were the reactions of people who, until very recently,
Naked Cobrian, 1988 from the 204. Hugo, what are your thoughts on dating apps if you're too tired to go outside and meet people in the library, gym, etc., etc.? Dating apps are just how you meet people nowadays. That's just it. I made a whole video about how capitalism ruins your love life. Maybe you can watch it on stream some other time, but at this point they're unavoidable. They're a fact of life. I don't think you can do anything against them or for them. They just are. Okay, so if you can find your partner through them, God bless.
Had no access to electricity.
But yes, it furthers the commodification of relationships by making you think that there's always a better partner somewhere out there for you, because you so easily can swipe into the next love of your life. So you will constantly be thinking while you're in a relationship that there is a better Pokemon that you can catch out there, and therefore will not be able to fully dedicate yourself to this person that has chosen you and this person that you've chosen yourself. You're commodifying your partner and thinking that you can buy a better commodity out there. That is the big minus, obviously. So extreme access to potential dating partners has its minus as well, especially under the context of how we define success and how we define a good partner, informed by the bourgeois ideology of today, which again is those who have more money.
Or drinking water, and shared outdoor toilets, but could now live in clean, well-separated and spacious housing units.
Yeah, remember that TikTok of an American guy coming to Eastern Europe and saying like, it's super weird here in Eastern Europe. Where is the water? Where is the water? And the meme is like, nobody's walking around with bottles of water all the time, etc., etc. There's a tap. There is a tap in your kitchen. Okay, that's where the water is. They've ruined that as well, though. I have a giant ass filter thing on my fucking tap now. Don't ask.
Which to many looked like science fiction. In many regards, commie blocks were a civilizational leap forward, and criticizing them for their lack of artistic or architectural flair and decoration in light of this historical context is a bit ungrateful, to say the least. Even the most cynical interpretations of these urbanization projects as vast, cheap storage units for people, it's undeniable that they solve the deep crisis that the feudalist and bourgeois order never even bothered to address. Of course, the monolithic, utilitarian approach left a lot to be desired, and there should always be room for criticism regarding artistic and architectural expression, regarding the blandness and sterility of some of these neighborhoods.
Yes, and that can be overridden when you have already satisfied the basic needs of your population. Especially back then when they did not have the industrial capability, literally didn't have the technology to build better buildings quicker. Nowadays, not only can we build better buildings quicker for absolutely everyone, but we can get to that point faster, so we can start also building cool shit again for everyone. Because again, housing should not be a thing you have to worry about. Ever, ever, ever. You should be considering housing the same way you consider water or electricity. It needs to be accessible to everybody. And it is 1,000,000% possible. 1,000,000% possible.
Regarding their effects on the more individualist, adventuralist, and irrational parts of the human psyche. But, as it is the case with everything, we mustn't forget the material conditions and context of the things we criticize. And in this context, any home is better than no home.
Mashallah. By the way, this is the wildest fucking cover Balkan Odyssey has ever made. Well, like with the picture of Lenin and am I actually insane? Absolutely fucking wild. And now we've touched, later we'll come back to Balkan Odyssey. Please subscribe to Balkan Odyssey, a brilliant channel, even though we're in low numbers today, but that's because of the hour at which we're streaming. Do go and check out their work. It's very good. But okay, now we talked about evil commie blocks. Now let's look at the developed, beautiful, successful paradise of America in a video that I haven't watched. It's called Why Americans Can't Keep Their Paychecks, okay? Why Americans can't keep their paychecks.
More than half of Americans with an income of $100,000 a year or higher say they're living paycheck to...
What was asbestos usage in them like? I have not heard of asbestos usage in these. I live in one, okay? The walls on this have not been changed. I live in one. Oh my God.
Paycheck. This may be the result of a sneaky behavioral phenomenon called lifestyle creep.
Lifestyle creep is the common pattern of making a little more money and starting to spend a little bit more money. It happens almost automatically.
I think people hold these benchmarks in their mind. If I reach this position or I get this promotion or I make it to this age, then I can live this life, or then I deserve to have these things. And then they kind of go a little crazy or go a little wild on it. And then it becomes like a trade-off. Like they only can enjoy their present happiness and they're not able to save or plan for the future.
There's something.
Yeah, but lifestyle creep keeps creeping, okay? Not only do you never achieve the original lifestyle you wanted to have back when you were a kid, fantasizing about the American dream being real, but even if you were to financially get to a point that back in the day you have always dreamed about, there is this beautiful, horrible aspect of this absolutely degenerate system that redefines what you really want right after you have reached the previous goal. So it motivates greed that, yes, to an extent is human nature, but not from the concept of wanting to accumulate, but wanting something better for yourself. But it is societies, the systems in societies in which we live that define what we see as quote-unquote better. And for us, what is quote-unquote better is just flashier shit. Flashier flats, flashier cars, flashier clothes, flashier haircuts. Okay, I'm the king of flashy haircuts, okay? Very flashy. Borderline doesn't even have hair, okay? That is the point to which you come, and you always keep wanting more. So lifestyle creep is a continuous thing that you will experience throughout your life unless you reject this ideology of growth is accumulation.
Wrong with wanting nice things. The mental, emotional reason why we want to acquire more is generally rooted in this need for like your perceived value. Like we live in a world where like the nicer car you drive, the higher your perceived value is.
People say advertising doesn't work. We've had a great episode where we talked about exactly how it is developed and how we don't find it absolutely insane that we're thrown private corporate propaganda in our face every fucking 5 seconds. Oh my God, it didn't work. Dude, it worked so well that that's the only thing that matters right now. Your identity presented through what you own, okay?
Every 10 people surveyed said that paying for everyday expenses negatively impacted their mental health.
And speaking of this incredibly evil way advertising manipulates you, Twitch is about to play some ads. It will probably not manipulate you, but will still be incredibly annoying in exactly 3 minutes and 20 seconds. If you would like to avoid those, become a sub, baby! Become my sub, baby! Thank you, Musoroma, for immediately being scared of the ad and doing the right thing. Thank you kindly.
It does take a lot of joy from just life and always being in this scarcity mindset when there isn't necessarily a scarcity to fear.
Here's why Americans feel like they're constantly struggling to keep their paycheck, even when they start making more money.
And thank you, Kit Litzo, for the gifted sub. And thank you, Gay Lennon, for the gifted sub. Both beautiful names. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you kindly. We all know Lennon was gay because he lifted. And we all know that people who lift are gay.
Say you get a new job and you have a little bit of a pay bump. Suddenly there's a little more room in your budget. Maybe you do some small upgrades, like you eat out rather than cook at home, or buy those Taylor Swift tickets, or upgrade your music subscriptions. Anything like that is an example of lifestyle creep. It's just these little upgrades that are very hard to undo financially or even psychologically once you've made them.
A lot of people have this scarcity mind.
And the additionally fucked up thing about this creep, okay, is we have outdated notions of how well you should be able to live with a certain income. The notion of how well you should live with a certain income is still stuck in the early 2000s and 90s. It has quite literally not adapted to inflation, as ridiculous as it sounds. So you always want to make 100K a year. And you work your ass off, and you start making 100K a year. But while you were getting to that 100K, while you were getting to it, what 100K can give you a year is no longer the same amount that you believed it could give you back when you were getting on that grind path to the 100K. Then you get disappointed, you end up wasting all your money, etc., etc. You get disappointed, you start thinking about 120, about 140, but that takes you years. And by the time you're getting to 120 and 140, you're not actually richer. Sure, your paycheck has more numbers on it, but you're not actually wealthier. And the creep gets harder and harder and harder to keep up with, because it is impossible for us to keep up with inflation and our notion of how much money gives you what kind of lifestyle. Okay? So you're always on the chase because you literally can't keep up. And then we wonder why people are fucking depressed.
Mindset around money, and they spend so much of their lives saving. And so...
Same with me and my Twitch lifestyle creep of wanting more subs, eh?
There can be this point where if you're constantly saving your whole life.
If only I have 1,500 subs, then life is going to be better. Oh, if only I have 1,000 subs, life is going to be better. Oh, if only I have 500 subs, life is going to be better.
And then you finally reach this marker of financial success, or you finally reach this big paycheck number. You feel like you finally deserve.
Crazy Fist. A study has shown that recently where I live, a study was done recently where I live, Australia, that doesn't exist, and they found that you have to earn something like 150K a year just in order to pay off a mortgage before you die. Absolutely. But remember, like 20 years ago, no, let's say 10 years ago, if you got out of college 10 years ago and your goal was to make 150K at one point, 150K like sounded like, oh my God, I would be able to just buy a house outright. And then 10 years later, you have 150K and you definitely can't afford a house. You can barely afford a mortgage, okay? That is what I'm trying to say. Will always be a sub for you, Gopnik. That's what we're talking about, right? Yeah, of course. I am slowly turning into a sex creep on here, okay?
To enjoy your life.
The idea that people save and they just hit a point where they feel like they deserve it, I fully disagree with that. Most people don't have $1,000 in the bank. Like, most people cannot handle a tire blowout, or they're going to put it on credit. There's no financial literacy, no financial education that happens. The average person does not think about lifestyle inflation at all. I think it's something that's not even on the average person's radar.
Yeah, lifestyle inflation, fancy new age words to describe exactly what we're talking about here, okay? And also the fancy words of financial literacy, etc., etc. At the end of the day, when you dig down deep enough, financial literacy literally means being conscious of the fact that you're always going to be broke, bro. So constantly save, which is not a bad thing by itself, but that's what it means.
Coming out of the pandemic, there was this strong desire to go out and splurge on experiences, maybe take a trip. This is often referred to
Rich dad, poor dad bullshit. Yeah, exactly. Metal Maoist.
as revenge spending or revenge travel. Research shows that young adults are particularly susceptible to this. They feel discouraged by higher prices and, making ends meet. So they might feel like they'll never have enough money to retire anyway. They might as well enjoy themselves now. Unlike perhaps their parents were, young adults need to be more responsible for their retirement because a lot of the safety nets that maybe their parents had, like a pension, don't know.
But for the cause, this is indirectly, as fucked up as it is, it's a good thing because it's breeding a new generation of parents that are going to be different to the old ones. In what context? The new generation of parents knows it's all bullshit. Especially when they, their kid is 10 or 15 and they're 45 or 50, and where they're fully integrated with the fact that it's all bullshit, they will tell their kid that it's all bullshit. So their kid will not have to go through life thinking that the harder they grind, the better it's going to be. And that can potentially lead to what? Potentially lead to those kids looking at systematic problems on why everything is shit, i.e., becoming motherfucking dirty, disgusting communists.
No longer exist or are extremely rare. So they need to contribute to their own 401k if they want to shore up their financial security.
There's something about spending a little more than we should that can feel like rebellious or bad. And it often can be a reaction to our family culture around money or parentified or internalized rules around what we can give ourselves.
Yes, but also, my beautiful sister, it doesn't really matter how much you know you're broke. The only thing that matters is how rich other people think you are. So if you overspend, the lifestyle creep we're talking about previously, if you overspend and present to your friends on Instagram stories with the clothes you wear, with the car you're barely paying off, they will think, oh my God, he's doing so well. But that's a what? That's a snake eating its own ass. Exactly. Because then those people will think, oh my God, he's doing so well, and feel bad about how not well they're doing, even though you're not doing so well, and then you're going to participate in the same thing. So the point we've reached is so fucking insane that it's literally like 5 broke dudes sitting on the table, thinking they're the brokest, fighting to be less broke than the other one, but they're all equally broke. They're all just broke. Okay, everybody's broke, but they think that their friends are doing really well. But they're all broke. They're just pretending not to be broke. Yes, we're all broke. So when you see it, that friend, okay, a little continuing with Yugovnik advice. When you see that friend that on the Instagram stories and the lifestyle and everything, they're like, oh my God, they're popping off. My life sucks so much. How did they achieve that and I didn't? Chances are, very large chances, they're not doing well either. It's all on fucking credit cards. It's all on loans. They're just LARPing the good life. They're just LARPing the good life. Most of them, as that lady said, don't even have a 1K in their fucking bank account, okay? You're doing okay. I mean, you're doing horribly. Okay, you're doing very bad. It's pretty bad. But so are your friends. And that should give you a little bit of hope, okay? And a bit of radicalism when it comes to what is to be done, which is the machete, of course.
And some people might overspend as like revenge against these rules, and some might look at someone who's overspending and think and kind of label them as all. And
especially the development of the taboo of like, it's extremely rude to ask your friends about, retitle the video "Why We're All Broke," please, mods. Thank you. Why we all pretend not to be broke. That should be the title. Why we all pretend not to be broke. And yes, it's further proliferated by the taboo of actually talking about how much you make. The taboo of never complaining about your financial situation to your friends. Because you have to participate in this LARP, in this rich guy LARP, that you're doing super well. You're doing super well. You're doing super well. As you're drowning in further and further and further debt. What was that? Always remember, what was that old saying? When you're young, you think everybody cares about Yeah, when you're young, you think everybody cares about how you're doing. When you're middle-aged, you realize that the only thing that matters is what you think about how you're doing. And when you're old, you realize nobody ever really cared about how you're doing. So just live your life your fucking way. You don't need the fucking Lambo, okay?
Bad or all good. And there can be a lot of guilt and anxiety around the consequences. Spending is a way for us to meet one need when another isn't met.
I was 19 years old when I entered my first corporate job.
Except me, I really care about that number on my subs. That literally defines how happy I am. So keep that in mind.
I was still figuring out how to adult as well as how to be in this, corporate world, make an income, which for sure led to overspending. I was sad, so I would shop. I was getting serotonin through shopping. Then that led to me accumulating over $30,000 of credit card debt. And I had to figure out how the heck I was going to pay that off.
When your spending is dictated by emotions or depriving yourself or holding back your needs, that's when it becomes problematic.
I'm the wealth coach. I'm a wealth coach. The Gopnik turned into wealth coach, eh? Thank you, Kit Litzo, for helping me feel better about my habits with the gifted sub. Thank you kindly.
I generally like to think of lifestyle inflation in sort of two buckets. You have like your general idea of what lifestyle inflation is, which is the buying fancy cars, the buying nice things along those lines. And then there is lifestyle creep that's more like regular everyday things that if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're going without, like going to the dentist, getting oil changes on your car, right? There was a time in my life when oil change was just like not even a priority. Like I'm trying to keep tires on my car. I'm trying to keep running.
Dude, man, I ran brakes changing on my car. You have no idea the sound my car's brakes were making up until one point. Because it was like, I am paying for that shit. Jesus fucking Christ, no. It was like, bleh. It wasn't even like the pitch every time you brake. It was like, bleh, bleh. Like, I could literally die and kill people. Very bad behavior, but I couldn't fucking afford to fix them. Sorry. And I couldn't not use the car to get to my job.
I'm trying to keep the registration paid.
No longer the case, thanks to all you beautiful souls.
I'm not concerned about an oil change, right?
More than 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck.
Yana Gibashi, would haven't been to the doctor or dentist in 3 years. Same. But that has nothing to do with money, because we kind of have some healthcare here. No, that's just me being a fucking dumbass.
As of September 2023. That, along with inflation, can have serious financial consequences. Many Americans also don't have emergency savings to fall back on. 63% of workers say they wouldn't be able to cover a $500 emergency expense.
There's that saying,
that is a system that works, okay? That is a system that works. When 63% of your population can end up on the street if their tire pops, that is it. That is what we're supposed to be satisfied with. The same species that landed on the moon, that went into space, that is managing to explore the greatest depths of our oceans. The same civilization that can build buildings that touch the sky, my dude, is the same one that is scared of a tire pop. That is a system that's really, really working, guys. Really, really working.
When it is time to get basic maintenance on your car,
kill the poor, la 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 la. Kill the boors. Kill the poors.
It ends up being way more expensive than you were planning on it being because you haven't done basic maintenance.
Lifestyle creep is a necessity for capitalist markets. The bourgeois are always trying to force the proletariat into outliving their income to create financial dependency on the system. Yes, we've said that multiple. Exactly. Yeah.
Maintenance.
And that can go well beyond car trouble. 46% of Americans said they have a balance on their credit card because of an emergency expense, according to a creditcards.com survey. 10% coming from car problems, 11% to cover unexpected medical bills, and 10%...
I mean, the credit system when it comes to fast-moving consumable goods, such as your tire or fucking baby formula for a kid, which is, again, insane for us to be calling that a commodity, that's their product. Their product is additionally ripping off people who are struggling financially. That's the product. That's the market. That's the thing. They're not selling you sunglasses. They're not selling you computer monitors. They're selling you a way out of a short-term escape from poverty. So the fact that that market even exists should tell you absolutely everything about how efficient it is when it comes to managing people's needs.
For home repairs.
Because of inflation and higher prices nearly across the board, people have been having a harder time making ends meet, and often that means turning to credit cards to fill in the gap between what you need to buy and what you can actually afford. Credit card rates are over 20%.
Remember, the first rule of Fight Club is don't mention to your friends just how broke you are.
20%. That's the highest interest that you'll likely find anywhere unless you're getting a payday loan. Credit card debt can really spiral out of control and pretty quickly.
The solution to get what you need when you're in a position when you don't have it, it really is to just make more money. It sounds like a simple solution, but it also sounds like a condescending one, right? You tell somebody who
just
is
buy a
doing the
house
best that they can, that they need to make more money. The solution to make more money isn't really realistic.
The experts that I talked to said it's okay to treat yourself as long as you've built in a buffer in case something comes up. You want to be able to find that balance between enjoying your life and your emotional well-being and your financial well-being.
Marbrisa Flores describes herself as a recovering super saver.
I would describe a super saver as someone who maybe is now in a position where they do have some sort of income, some sort of stability, but it's a certain mindset that keeps you in scarcity mode and afraid to spend on things that you may need or want and kind of affect your lifestyle in that way. My way of saving it was to hoard it.
And the tough part is that saving for the sake of saving, it's not very reinforcing, but it can kind of be addictive, and there's momentum in that.
I wouldn't advise going to that extreme. It does take a lot of joy from just life and always being in this scarcity mindset when there isn't necessarily scarcity to fear. After working with a wealth coach, I continued to save because I was still very would put me at ease in that scarcity mindset. Like, I felt at ease having my savings. I continued to save money, but in a more intentional way, with the intention being of spending it.
When you're in scarcity, you're feeling this anxiety. My first thing that I like to tell individuals is forgive yourself for what you've done in survival mode. I think I like to divide it between, what's essential, what's, an actual bill type of expense versus
you're stuck between two player characters, two classes you can choose at the character creation screen, okay? Between the person that is just diving head fucking neck deep into debt, or the person that enjoys absolutely nothing so that they can save, so that in case something bad happens, they can find a path out of it because they have some money laying around. Both choices, at the end of the day, remove true enjoyment out of life, because in both cases, you either can't really afford it and you're fucking yourself over, or you're not really experiencing anything because you have to save all the time, so you're fucking yourself over. No matter which character class you choose, you're fucking yourself over, okay? There's no option for Khajiit, and just or you can be the third category. Choose Khajiit and just drink that great what was it called? Smegma, Smudra. What was the Elder Scrolls drug? Okay, what was the Elder Scrolls out? Skooma, yeah, and you just drink the skooma. Okay, it was definitely not Smegma.
Lifestyle, what's a choice that you take on to spend money. For example, a choice to go out drinking and having fun, and there's
Ligma. What's Ligma? Remember that era when that was funny?
also not the choice. You have to make that car payment. You also have to put gas in that car for it to go, right? So there's things that you can't avoid, and there's things that you have a choice to do.
Skyrim player you got? Like, dude, I'm an OG from the second Elder Scrolls, baby.
And you can
Oblivion was the best. I don't care what you say.
adjust.
Value-based spending is what I teach, and it's where you sit down and you really evaluate, one, where am I spending my money right now, and am I being reactive or am I being proactive in that? Am I spending my money in places that really have value for me, or am I spending my money in places that I think I should be spending my money because of outside influences? And once you have an idea of where your money is going right now and looking at, am I aligned with this? Is this something that I actually value?
The goal here is to find balance. It's about finding ways to spend in the moment and also how you want to spend your money in the future. So it's about enjoying your life, but not being so focused in a future that hasn't.
Basically what they're saying is deal with it, you poor schmuck. Shut the fuck up, poor schmuck. This is how it is, poor schmuck. You gotta choose, schmuck. You gotta choose what you get to enjoy, schmuck. Go back to work, schmuck. Okay?
Hasn't come yet, or too much focus on the present. The idea is having your cake and eating it too. You can have bites of your cake right
Kev Dog Marxist, I choose smegma.
now and then save some cake for later.
Dialectical smegma materialism. Okay, and we have one about why Americans are falling behind on car
Whether
loans.
it's a sports car you're excited to rev up for a nice weekend drive, or a safe minivan filled with entertainment features for your children, cars are everywhere. There are more than 200 entertainment features for your children.
Was that Warsaw?
Car-
Is this Warsaw? No, it's Seattle or something. Yeah, Warsaw doesn't have fucking insane highways in the middle of the street like this. What city is this?
Cars are everywhere. There are more than 275 million vehicles on the road in the United States.
What taste is it? It's the smegma taste, Kev Dog.
People, they equate cars with freedom. There is this way in which
Warsaw
it
is
gives
really
us
nice.
an ability to explore and see and expand our lives.
Warsaw is
But in
amazing.
recent years, owning a car has gotten expensive. Really expensive. More than 100.
And it's wild just how much you need a car in the United States. Like, you can't live without that fucking thing. The entire infrastructure is built for wheels. The need for speed, the need for car. Literally maybe top 5 reasons why I could never live in that fucking country.
100 million Americans have an auto loan, and auto loan debt in the US is currently at $1.5 trillion, a record high.
Outside of purchasing your first home, a new car or an auto is the second largest purchase for most people. Given the transaction prices and vehicle prices today, financing is required to buy these vehicles.
In 2023, the average monthly auto loan payment for a new vehicle is $725, up
God damn, brother. 725. God damn.
from $650 in 2022. The average monthly payment for a used vehicle
Increased by $100 year over year. We're doing great, guys. We're doing well. Nothing's going bad.
is $516 in 2023, up 2% from the prior year. Meanwhile, consumers don't typically cast their car buying experience in a positive light.
It was a very quick process, and I did feel like they just wanted me to sign at the bottom line as quickly as possible.
For years, complaints and lawsuits have been popping up left and right against lenders for alleged discriminatory and illegal practices.
It undermines my trust.
Our number one priority is to our consumers. And so we have put a variety of processes in place to ensure that is the case.
So what's happening in the auto loan industry, and what can consumers do to make sure they're protected? Just like any other loan, an auto loan is a lump sum of money you're given to purchase a car.
Today's Yugopnik Twitch episode is poverty porn, I guess.
Money you're borrowing and have to pay back over time. Once you've been approved for a loan, often including a down payment.
You know what the wild thing is? I talked to my accountant. Yes, I have an accountant. They will never give me a car loan. They will never give me a car loan because now it's running through an LLC and I don't really have a salary. Like, no bank knows how to deal with people who talk into the microphone on the internet. They can't calculate your income and shit. So yeah, I'm gonna have to buy cars cash, which I guess will save me from loans. I don't know.
You can drive your new or used car out of the lot, but it's only yours as long as you make monthly payments. With interest, of course. Take 32-year-old Sean Miller, for example.
Banks can't handle Balkan realness, baby. Yeah. By the way, here, like, it's still taboo to buy a car on a loan. It looks like you're a LARPer that's living outside of his means. Like, people will literally joke, like, nice car. Is it yours? And he'll be like, yeah, of course. Like, yeah, but did you buy it cash? And they're like, no. They're like, this is not yours. It's the bank's, motherfucker. You know? Just buy a fucking 2005 BMW that will end up costing more than a brand new BMW after all the repairs. Speaking of repairs, repair your life from a constant stream of ads that are going to play in exactly 1 minute. Take out that wrench and hit that subscribe button for $5 or for free through Prime. Don't let ads ruin your life. Plus, you get some benefits and you make my mother more proud of me. Thank you kindly.
In 2019, he bought a new car for just more than $48,000.
Come on, that was decent. 4 out of 10. You people, you guys are assholes. Fucking assholes.
He put down about $10,000, locked in a 3.89% interest rate for a 72-month...
Thank you, Kit Litzo's on a roll today. 4th gifted sub. Thank you kindly, Kit Litzo. Kit Litzo holding up the stream like women hold up half the sky, baby. For mom. Thank you, Kit Litzo.
And now makes monthly payments of about $590. By the time the loan is paid off, he'll have paid nearly $5,000 in interest. And then there's a caveat.
And thank you, Hey Hachiro504 for the 3 gifted subs. Thank you. Gave so many wrenches to so many people to throw into the machine of advertising. Thank you kindly. Dude, I tried to escape the advertising industry, and now I'm talking about advertising more often than I ever did in my life. Isn't that hilarious?
You can drive your new or used car out of the lot, but it's only yours as long as you make monthly payments. With interest,
so is it really yours? You know that meme that sometimes even right-wing authoritarians say, dude, they're going to ruin the world. They're going to make it like communism. You will own nothing and you will be happy. My brother, your house is on a loan. Your car is on a loan. Your MacBook is on a loan. Your fucking living room carpet is on a loan. What the fuck do you own, dude? Somebody can come and just take it away at any second. You don't own jack shit. And we all know that capitalism would not be able to continue operating without the same previously mentioned loan systems.
Take 32-year-old Sean Miller, for example. In 2019, he bought a new car for just more than $48,000. He put down about In 2019, he bought a new car for just more than $48,000. He put
$48K? What kind of... That's a fucking super cheap car, man. With current car prices, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know. I might be Balkanhead and only look at BMWs. But 48K is ridiculously cheap car. Like, no extras. That thing is like bare bones as fuck, my dude.
Down about $10,000, locked in a 3.89% interest rate for a 72-month term, and now makes monthly payments of about $590. By the time the loan is paid off, he'll have paid nearly $5,000 in interest. And then there's a caveat. Until you fully pay back the loan, the lender holds the title and can repossess the car at any time.
Yeah, base model Honda for that. Why would you drive a base model anything new? You can buy a 5-year-old car that's kitted to it, like, or 10-year-old that's kitted out of its mind, man. It's just stupid, is what I'm saying.
If you fall behind on your payments.
Noelle Saldana was at work when her husband called to say their 2011 Acura had been stolen right in front of their East Orange apartment building with their 1-year-old daughter Hannah in the back seat.
Just got back to working. Got a little behind my payments.
Repo guys going into your driveway in the middle of the night and taking your car. That's one way. They have.
And the repo guys have like TikTok accounts that have like 1.2 million fucking followers. They're like, oh my god, yeah, own that dumbass that took a car he can't pay for. And it's mostly kids that never had to pay a loan. That's the funny part. They're gonna repo your shit one day, you stupid fucking gorilla.
Have these switches that can turn the cars off.
There are direct and indirect lenders. A direct lender would be your local bank, credit union, or an online lender. Once you're approved for a loan through a direct lender, you can then head to the dealership and shop around for your car just like a cash buyer would.
Damn, talk about a state working in the interests of the capitalist. Goose Majour. Years back, my car needed $500 in repairs to be road legal. No one would give my partner and I a loan for that. Nobody would give you $500 a loan. Fucking insane. But they would give us a loan for a new car. Let's not even talk about the environmental impact of that.
As for indirect, that's when you go to a dealer and they provide you with financing options as you're buying a car. For example, you might be at a Subaru dealer and you just picked out the perfect car for your family. The dealer sends your financial information to Chase. Chase checks your credit and other financial factors and provides the dealer with an interest rate and loan terms. Then, the dealer presents you with their interest rate and terms, and if you agree, you sign and get to drive away with your new car. It's more of an all-in-one process, and about 80% of auto loans are estimated to be indirect. Now, regardless of if you're choosing a new or used car or direct or indirect lending, one of the most important factors that will determine the interest rate and loan terms you're offered is how confident the lender is in your ability to pay back that loan. They look at your assets, liabilities, income, expenses, and most importantly,
your race.
Your credit score.
Our primary goal.
Remember how we were screaming about China and social credit scores or social scores or whatever? Chimbiling, please increase social credit score. Please increase. Whole country is built on a fucking credit score, my dude. Okay. The capitalists are literally rating how reliable you are for them to give you their product, which is the credit. Remember, you're not just buying the car, you're buying the product that is defined as credit. You're buying money. You're buying money from them. By the way, all the money they have that they're buying back to you is not really their money. It's all the money that other people have put in there. So they take money from one guy and then they sell it. Some guy, they are selling you some guy's money with interest.
Is to put customers in financial products that they can afford.
Chase Auto tells us they service consumers with a credit score of 620 and higher, with the average credit score typically in the 700 range. Toyota Financial Services holds primarily a prime credit portfolio, meaning they service those with very high credit scores. They tell us the average is 744.
But we do support a larger spread of business, and those with maybe lower FICOs may come to the table with larger down payments to help that affordability.
Toyota is currently the market leader for auto loans and leases. In 2022, 5.3% of total auto financing came from Toyota Financial Services. 4.4% came from Capital One Auto Finance.
The partnership that we have with the divisions is what makes us extremely successful. We've got a concentration and a focus on our customers and our guests and our dealership partners.
According to Toyota, the company's financial services business consists primarily of providing financing to their own dealers and their customers. The business also provides mainly retail installment credit and leasing. Sales revenue for the financial services business for fiscal year ending in March 2023 increased by nearly 21% to 2,809.6 billion yen from 2022, which is about $19.8 billion. That's compared to its much larger automotive operations business that saw an 18% increase in sales revenue in 2023 from the year prior. The Japanese automaker is the largest in the world.
The industry's going strong. We're continuing to recover. Consumers are out there buying vehicles. The demand is there, and the lending is there.
Yeah, because of many reasons, including the fucking, spending creep that we talked about when looking at the previous video. Motherfuckers will buy shit no matter how broke they are.
They're losing their jobs, and these firms are going to go out of business, and he's nuts.
Global chip shortage still hampering car production.
The rate of inflation soaring to its highest level in over 30 years.
More than half of auto financing is by non-bank finance companies such as the financing arms of automakers. These lenders typically rely on short-term funding markets for their own financing. So with volatile markets, especially the case of short-term funding markets drying up during the global financial crisis, the past couple of decades have kept auto lenders on their toes, to say the least.
We went from a time of easy credit to now a time where we're more credit constrained, and because of the risks of inflation, even more credit constrained, right? Because of the interest rates that have gone way up. That is a huge problem.
In the first quarter of 2023, the average interest rate for a loan on a new vehicle reached 6.58%, up from 4.1% in 2022. That's an about 15-year high.
That's almost 50% jump, okay? That is a 58 to 60% jump in 1 year. Everything is fine. Line go up. Line go up, everything is fine. Line go up, everything is fine. Go to work. Line go up, it's all fine. Buy a new car, everything is fine. Line go up.
High. Average car prices are also at a high. That's partly due to supply chain shortages, higher demand, and inflation. That also means Americans take on larger loans at a higher interest rate. In the past 10 years, outstanding loan debt has doubled, and auto loan debt in the US is at a record high. Younger Americans are also more in trouble than they've ever been in.
Jesus Christ. Americans falling into auto loan delinquency. Percent of balance by age. God. 18 to 29-year-olds, exactly because of the lifestyle creep and many other factors, are just fucked. As you can see, back in 2008, the only crisis that was on par to what we're experiencing now was the highest, obviously. And now we're right back to the similar rate. Literally 1% below. Goddamn.
In 2022, $20 billion in Gen Z and millennial debt had fallen into serious delinquencies.
I'm paying a ton of money right now for a car that I don't really need. I've been struggling to sell it. If I were to sell it today, it would probably be at a $10,000 to $15,000 loss.
Miller rented his car out until someone crashed it. He's tried to sell it, but hasn't received
Did that guy have a Ukraine flag in the background?
an offer that makes financial sense.
It's going to be at least another 3 or 4 years of owning the car before I'm able to pay off the loan. This is something that right now is preventing me from being able to save up in order to start a family.
He's not alone with his concerns, and these changes are hitting lower income consumers. Those
Minion flag. No, the new meme is IKEA. IKEA. You know, let me show you. Where is it? Playlist, stream suggestions. Shut the fuck up. Americans, Europe. Let me show you the newest. That's.
Does it look like I'm fucking joking?
How much do you think this is?
IKEA. IKEA.
IKEA? Why do you think this is IKEA?
Because that's the colors they have on their side.
Name 3 countries. We serve the IKEA state. We will create a social democratic welfare utopia and we will call it IKEA. We salute to Chairman IKEA man.
with credit scores below 620, the hardest. The Fed's interest rate hikes.
This is the future liberals want.
Are squeezing them out of the market.
What we're seeing is another manifestation of what we saw during the subprime crisis, which is that lower income people lost their homes. And lower income people are having difficulty getting cars, getting mortgages, and they're also at higher risk of default.
Being priced out of the market is just one reason Americans have a bone to pick with the auto loan industry. Besides the
A bone to pick with capitalism in general, my beautiful.
notoriously unpleasant car buying experience, there's also been more complaints and lawsuits related to alleged discriminatory and illegal practices by
Now we are standing up the healthiest Twitch streamer on this platform.
auto lenders than we have time to get into.
A lot of the auto salespeople that I've seen personally, not to say all, but definitely a lot of them are doing it very much in a rush way in order to get a high markup on a car, in order to get a great commission, but not with the interests of the buyer, not with their financial livelihood, and not with their family in mind.
Remember that indirect lending example I gave you earlier with Subaru and Chase? The bank, or in that example Chase, provides an interest rate of
You know why they call it chase? Because they're always come chasing after you. Ah, I'm 12 years old and I apologize.
loan terms, and then the dealer, or Subaru, presents you with their interest rate
Handmade, bones to pick with capitalism, $69.99. That's funny.
in terms. That's often with a markup.
The consumer never sees how much the finance company has said is the minimum interest rate and loan term that they will accept. Let's say, for example, Toyota Finance says that they want the minimum interest rate to be 7%. The dealer can bump it up to 9%, and the consumer never knows about that transaction. It violates all of our norms about fairness and about the way markets work.
It's a convenience the dealer is providing.
It doesn't violate any norms, sister. It literally is showing us how markets actually work, okay? How they've always worked.
Offering a service by arranging financing. That markup becomes profit for the dealer and is sometimes shared with the lender.
Chase and many financial institutions do put limits on how much of a premium a dealer can add to the rate that we offer. Putting limits ensures consistency of experience across a variety of distributors.
Chase Auto did not provide us with what its current caps are. Caps on markups vary based on state and lender, but are typically around 2.5 percentage points. Lack of transparency is just one, but a common reason some consumers feel they're being treated unfairly. One of the more recent controversies was this one. The Massachusetts Attorney General reached a $7.6 million settlement with Toyota Motor Credit Corporation to resolve allegations of illegal auto loan collection practices. The lawsuit claims Toyota failed to give certain consumers sufficient information about the calculation methods for deficiencies left on their auto.
They love collecting your car if you don't pay it off. Because you've already made a down payment. So they get to keep the down payment. The down payment is always going to be far higher than what they might need to repair on the car and then resell it again to another schmuck. Okay? So the best case scenario for them, always the best case scenario for them, is to collect your car after you have paid for a year or two, after you've paid your interest off after a year or two. And then they take it back, they've gotten the profit from the loan, and they get to resell the car one more time.
Auto loans after their cars were repossessed.
I can't comment on that settlement. We stand firmly that, our practices are very fair. To these specific settlements and fines, I really can't comment because of the specificity of the state allegations and what might be behind it.
Back in 2016, a different settlement. That time, for $21.9 million to settle allegations that Toyota discriminated against Black and Asian borrowers by charging them higher rates than white borrowers.
Toyota is not alone. I think probably all the major car manufacturers have been hit with lawsuits like this because of the discretionary decision making when it comes to the markups.
Toyota wouldn't comment on that settlement either, or this report spanning the entire industry.
So, your credit score seems intact, but what I am worried about is this. How do I put this? It is kind of concerning that you have what we in the business call too much melanin, you see, sir. Too much melanin scares us. Too much melanin means car no go back.
By a former senior economist at the Federal
Which they call discretionary decision making, okay?
Reserve Bank of Chicago. It claims Black, Hispanic, and Asian borrowers often pay hundreds and sometimes thousands of extra dollars in loan payments.
Hey, it's the melanin tax, eh?
Relative to their white counterparts.
Do you have any insight into why that might be?
No, that is something I cannot comment on. All of our risk-based pricing is based off of FICO score and creditworthiness of the customer. We don't even collect that type of data.
That report is not nearly the only one with such claims. According to this research paper, minority borrowers pay 70 basis point higher interest rates, but default less than non-minorities. These researchers say each year more than 80,000 minorities are unable to get loans that they would have been approved for if they were white.
Whenever people have subjective decision making, that's where the lack of transparency is very problematic.
We spend a lot of time making sure that we understand and are providing affordable lending products to all consumers, regardless of their background.
A class action lawsuit was filed in 2017 alleging Chase Auto violated the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and state law by illegally repossessing consumers' vehicles from April 2013 to 2018. In 2018, Chase Auto, its parent company JP Morgan Chase, and debt collector Repossessors Incorporated agreed to pay $3.25 million.
What is that?
And debt collector Repossessors Incorporated.
Debt collector Repossessors Incorporated. Hey, where do you work, bro? At Debt Collectors Incorporated.
Agreed to pay
We just do a little bit of debt collecting.
To settle the case.
We're not loan
What has
sharks,
Chase
I
Auto
promise.
done since then, and
Because
have
we have a
business
license
operations
from the
changed
government.
to prevent future allegations?
We undergo a variety of tests of our systems and processes to ensure that they are compliant with all rules and regulations. And there have been a series of exams and reviews of our process, and we feel confident that we are compliant with applicable law and regulations.
For the first time in more than a decade, in 2022, the FTC proposed a rule addressing unfair and deceptive financing practices by auto dealers. The proposed measures include banning bait and switch claims, fraudulent junk fees, surprise junk fees, and requiring full upfront disclosure of costs and conditions.
I've dealt with predatory lending. Multiple members of my family have also dealt with predatory lending in some very sketchy situations. And it's really in our best interest to have some rules in place to make sure that these unscrupulous auto lenders aren't taking advantage of people.
But in July 2023, the U.S. House Appropriations Committee backed a government spending bill containing language that blocks the FTC from implementing its proposed new rules. So, what does that mean for consumers? It means new legislation is probably not around the corner. In the meantime, consumer advocates say more programs are needed to protect Americans buying cars, and that increasing transparency is key.
My mother always knew how much bananas cost at every grocery store and went to the store that had the cheapest price. When it comes to cars, we don't have that ability.
Do you believe a consumer should be able to see the rate directly from Chase, regardless of whether or not they're, getting pre-approved at home prior to going to the dealership, or if they're sitting in the dealership and that's the first time that they're trying to get an auto loan?
Yes, I think that transparency is critical. And so if a consumer goes to chase.com, they can see the rate, they can see the terms, and they should be able to see the rates and the term at the dealership or whatever they
I'm Coindexter. I'm Coindexter.
Until we see changes in the industry, Americans need to look out for themselves. Before getting an auto loan, experts recommend shopping around. Check your credit score, get pre-approved online, go to your local credit union and bank, and find out what types of deals you might be able to get before signing anything.
Right now, we're finding that the lowest interest rate...
Yeah, every time you go and talk to any of these bankers or any of these motherfuckers, and thank you, Kit Litzo, for the gifted sub. Thank you kindly, Kit Litzo. The G, making it financially feasible for me to stream at this time. Thank you, Kit Litzo. Always the way you interact with every single bank, every single guy that's giving you a loan, every single guy that's selling you anything relatively more expensive, always look at them as your enemy. Always look at them as somebody who will do everything in their power to rip you off. Everything in their power to rip you off. Ask insane questions. Ask your fucking lawyers if you can afford them. Ask your accountants if you can afford them. Always understand that their interests are not in line with yours, and that might help you get ripped off a bit less than usual. But you can trust me, my brother, you're going to get ripped off, because that's on what all of this we call a society, Zella, is based on, okay?
Rates are with the credit unions. Average rates within credit unions are closer to the 6% range, whereas the banks are closer to 7 and 8%.
We now have digital marketplaces online. There's a wide range of resources now that are available to help customers understand the competitiveness of the interest rates, the terms that they're getting. Arm yourself with the best information possible.
In 2020, Toyota launched SmartPath, a digital retail tool that lets customers shop for cars and apply for financing online.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with haggling. You shouldn't feel like a cheap ass for haggling. You shouldn't feel like a cheap ass for asking additional questions. Like, Make them uncomfortable. Make them incredibly uncomfortable. Renegotiate. Walk out of the room until they call you back. Go to multiple places and show different offers that you've received. Like, play these guys. Because for sure, after they sell you some shit, they go to the fucking coffee room and they talk with their colleagues and they're like, man, this schmuck, I just fucked them so hard. Even though in front of you they were all nice and smiley and offered you cookies and cake.
This concept of
They're your enemy,
living
always.
room to showroom, so that when customers and guests are online researching what kind of vehicle they want, they can have a similar and transparent process.
And trust me, I'm giving you this advice, and yet I pretty much very often I can't do it because I feel awkward about it, etc., etc. It's where my girlfriend walks in and slaps the fuck out of me, and she's extremely rude, and she's like, okay, no, we're going to another place. No, shut the fuck up. Or she literally Googles in front of them and shows them, hey, the other store is selling it for this much. And then they start thinking, oh, maybe I'm not the one holding all the cards here, just most of them.
If you have the means, drive to a second, third, or maybe fourth dealer to compare rates and terms. And stay away from buy here, pay here dealers. They typically offer the highest interest rates, sometimes up to 20%. Do your research, ask questions, and don't give up, even if it's been a long, exhausting, and mentally draining day. We all know the feeling of not wanting to see one more number, but don't let that push you to sign on the dotted line if you're not ready. Tell the dealer you need more time, and you'll come back. Finally, vote.
There are tremendous problems.
Vote! Vote! We forgot we were watching a CNBC video. God. Vote! Vote! Vote with your dollars to vote! Yeah, that will solve everything. Yeah, this was enough. Okay. So we talked about broke Americans. Now let's talk about insane Americans, okay? And you're like, isn't that all of them? No. Because some of them think that there are rays that make you feel a hangover. And no, it's not because American diplomats don't want to go to work in the morning, or because they had a bit too much to drink, or because, I don't know, having McDonald's every morning might not be a great idea. No, it's the Cubans, Russians, and Chinese that are using special rays that are making you feel sick. And that is exactly what we're going to talk about next. I've seen this video and I can't not watch it. Havana Syndrome reports links mystery illness to Russian intelligence unit. Havana Syndrome back in business. I thought that this shit was made fun of so fucking hard for so long that they would never go back down this pipeline because it's just so fucking stupid. But apparently no.
Another story today, the Kremlin has dismissed a media report that links a Russian intelligence unit to so-called Havana Syndrome. That's a mystery illness which has affected US diplomats. An investigation by The Insider, Der Spiegel and CBS alleges that the Americans were targeted with directed energy weapons. One victim of the syndrome, an FBI agent, told 60 Minutes about her experience of being hit by a powerful force while at her home in Florida in 2021.
And bam, inside my right ear, it was like a dentist drilling on steroids. That feeling when it gets too close.
Lady woke up and she working for what? The FBI? I don't know. I don't care what she fucking works for. She's a fucking traitor dog. And she was like, I need to look like the bad guy. If this is not, I want to look like a woman supervillain aesthetic. I don't know what is, okay? And she is pushing it with proper James Bond style, evil foreign intervention into my brain with laser weapons, okay?
To your eardrum, it's like that, times 10. It was like a high-pitched metallic drilling noise, and it knocked me forward at like a 45-degree angle this way.
Well, the syndrome was first...
It's not the asbestos in her walls. It's guys, I'm having a headache. It means that a whole sovereign foreign state is trying to fuck me over, okay? The rest of us are out here having headaches because fucking life is horrible and our lifestyles suck. No, it's not me. It's not me. Hey, girlfriend, I can have another beer. I didn't have a massive hangover yesterday because of the beer. It was Russia and Cuba targeting their satellites at me, okay? Just let me have another beer. All bros all over the world will start using this fucking Havana syndrome thing. Dude, trust me, it's not from the Coke. It's not from the Coke. It's the Russians, okay? It's not the Coke. It's the Russians.
Identified in Cuba's capital city in 2016 when US diplomats complained of dizziness, headaches, and a painful...
She drank her like 7 fucking espresso for the day or whatever you Americans call coffee, and she lost her shit thinking that they're out to get her.
Sound in their ears. US officials have previously said it's unlikely a foreign power is to blame. The Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov says the new accusations are unfounded.
It is absolutely not a new issue. For many years, an issue of so-called Havana syndrome has been played up in mass media. Often it was connected with accusations of Russian involvement, but no one has ever published or expressed any convincing...
Imagine if this exists. It would be the biggest failure of a project I've ever heard in my life. To create such a piece of technology probably would require like, блядь, like $10 billion, like a fucking $10 trillion to develop something like this. And you spend so much time, labor, and money, and the only thing you can do is give them headaches. Give them headaches. Dude, you should just send them drum and bass, my bro.
Evidence of these unfounded accusations anywhere.
Well, let's speak now to news reporter Steve Dorsey, who broke the story.
Eduardo. No, you don't understand. The Cubans gave me erectile dysfunction. It's not you, it's not me. The Cubans gave me erectile dysfunction.
Of the syndrome affecting US personnel in Cuba in 2016 for CBS and has covered developments since. Steve, good to have you with us.
Imagine if, dude, you studied for so long to be a journalist and the only thing that is relevant in your career is that you were covering laser signals that give people headaches.
Named for the Cuban capital where it was first reported, but this has cropped up in various other locations as well, hasn't it?
Absolutely. We've been hearing over the years of cases spreading throughout China.
Thank you, Twerkzilla, for getting over your Havana syndrome and doing a sub. Thank you.
Originating first in Guangzhou. We've been reporting on at least one case in Uzbekistan. Now we're hearing from 60 Minutes and other reporters that there have been cases in Ukraine, in Germany, and now the Pentagon and the White House confirming that last year at a NATO summit, a senior DOD official, a Pentagon official, had similar symptoms as this purported Havana syndrome.
But, okay, tell me, what are the symptoms? Everybody's telling me just the symptoms are headache. Some of our millions of employees are having headaches. That means Cuba bad. The CIA used to be much edgier than this, like false flag operations, fucking bombings, fucking mass murder, etc., blaming it on the enemy. Now it's laser signals. I love it. I love it.
Which the federal government here in the U.S. is now calling anomalous health incidents. That's a evolution of what were first described as health attacks by the U.S. State Department. So far, though, not much more information publicly revealed by the Biden administration.
So we've heard about some of the symptoms, earaches, headaches, nosebleeds, and this has been all attributed to some kind of so-called directed energy.
My dude, then I've been having Havana syndrome attacks at least 10 times a year.
Attack? What could be causing this?
Well, listen, there's been a lot of research over the years, studies done by universities, by the National Institutes of Health, by academic journals, theorizing what could be behind these strange constellations of injuries and symptoms, everything from what we're hearing is a directed energy device, which 60 Minutes has described as something that could be like a secret sonic weapon that is perhaps developed by a secret military intelligence unit of Russia. Or it could
Literally, the most useless military intelligence unit in the world. Motherfuckers' entire jobs is giving headaches to the enemy, bro.
Be microwave signals aimed at U.S. diplomatic personnel, but also undercover intelligence officers in Cuba and elsewhere around the world, other officers working for different parts of the government, including the FBI. Or listen, we've heard much other skepticism of this, including from Cuba itself, saying that it had no involvement in this. It could have been loud crickets at the time, or it could have been in the imagination of all these folks that claim they have things as...
Based on just how many headaches I've given to Americans, I'm more productive than any Havana syndrome ever. I hope I don't get a knock on my door by the CIA for ruining so many American lives, goddammit. Speaking of you ruining American lives, European lives, African lives, Asian lives, Australian lives, South American lives, North American lives. Ads. One is going to play in exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds. If you would like to watch no ads ever on this channel while supporting what I do here, do consider becoming a sub for free through Prime or for only $5 a month. Thank you for your consideration. Beautiful, beautiful. Play.
Severe as mild traumatic brain injury, which was, according to some victims...
Thank you, Kit Litzo. Thank you again. Kit is killing it today.
...noted in scans of their brains.
And finally, Steve, what do you make of the contention on the one hand that this could be attributed to Russia? Russia, as we've heard, denies this. On the other hand, we have had the US government...
I love how this, advanced BBC journalist at no point is thinking that it might be relevant to ask the question, hey, what if these are just headaches? Why shouldn't we call these just headaches? Like, this doesn't occur to her at all. And thank you, Kev Dog Marxist, for the gifted sub. Thank you, Big G. Thank you, my dog.
Previously saying that it doesn't believe a foreign power is behind these attacks.
And that's something that some of the victims have been complaining about, that the U.S. isn't taking this seriously enough. There's been doubts about...
We're being ableist towards CIA operatives, guys.
Whether an adversary is involved, whether there is any kind of weapon involved, whether their injuries are actually real. But we do know that there is reporting and intelligence that suggests a foreign adversary could be involved in this. It could be Russia, it could be another adversary. But there are conclusions that it's likely not Cuba necessarily involved to a full extent, that they simply don't have the resources or the technology.
I love the Havana Syndrome story so much because it literally tells us that these guys will tell us the most outlandish fucking lies and believe that we are dumb enough to fucking swallow them up. And the craziest thing is that so many libs and conservatives will swallow it up. So the fact that they're even trying to push shit like this shows just how stupid they think we are, but also just how stupid some of us genuinely am, okay? Genuinely are. Very English today. Very speak the language of very good. Very language, very good. Yes, da. The fuck. Fucking charge. Okay, and with this, we move into the next conversation, which is the one that was the main one for today, and that is crime inside of capitalism. What is it? Is it just an extended arm of the bourgeoisie? Is it a rebellious act against the system? Is it just another way people are trying to survive? We're going to have this conversation while learning more about the Crips. How the Crips gang actually works. I don't know anything about this and would love to learn. Wait, are the Crips the red ones or the blue ones? I think Crips, Bloods versus Crips. Yeah, Crips are the blue ones. Okay. Bloods and Crips. Okay. Let's check it out.
Tyrone White. I'm a former 6'5" Menlo Crip. Some of my rivalries were the Blood gangs and the Crip gangs. We're involved in drive-by shootings as well as drug dealing, and this is how crime works. Yeah, of course I've participated in drive-bys.
What's a drive-by, guys? When you go with your bros to get some McDonald's, right?
Been a victim of drive-bys plenty of times. When you're going against war with one another, there's no winners. Now you can look at it and say, okay, I shot more of their homies than they shot of mine, or I killed more of their homies or they killed of mine. But both sides are taking losses. So if you both are taking a loss of life, there's no winners. When I was coming up, the guns that were used in gang banging were the 9mm, the 45s, Mossberg 12-gauge shotgun pump, AK-47s, Tech 9s. The first gun that I ever got placed in my hand, given to me as a gift from one of my homeboys, was a 25, a chrome 25, little small.
Reminder to mods to adjust the name. Thank you kindly.
Small 25 with the pearl handle. Had like 6 shots in it or something like that. And as you got older and you learn more about guns and elevate yourself.
Don't tell me I'm not a lover of the United States of America, okay? This is one of the biggest beauties, baby. Biggest beauties, okay? Back when America was a pre-Red Scare, okay? You made some good shit, okay? Some good shit.
Of course, you get bigger guns. Guns are sold on the street like dope is sold on the street. You can even buy guns from enemy gangs. Because right now it's a business. It's about making this money. They come from everywhere now. Where they get them from?
It's a toy. It's a toy. It's not a real gun, Eduardo. Terms of service, not a real gun.
Be from the police force. It could be from the military. You can never be caught what we call lacking or slipping. You got to always be ready. You got to have enough firepower. You are ready for war at all times. From the early 80s.
Yeah, dude. Fucking, this is a narcos army.
Mexico is on pace for another year of record violence. In the first 6
Ya sabes con quién traes la bronca. Para que sepas, aquí seguimos buscándote y no quitaremos el dedo del renglón.
Libertarians be like, dude, the state should not exist. McDonald's will have these guys. Coca-Cola will have these guys. Believe it or not, BlackRock is going to have these guys. It would just... I would love if there's an alternative dimension where right-wing libertarians won somehow, just to visit it for a day, because I would give money to see what the McDonald's army uniform would look like, okay? The McDonald's army uniform. That would make my year immediately.
The CGNG leader is known as El Mencho. In the past few years, his cartel has grown from this ragtag group of gunmen in pickup trucks into this powerful paramilitary force.
That dimension is called Milei's Argentina. Yeah, we'll see in 10 years.
With high-powered weapons and armored vehicles. In June, gunmen allegedly hired by El Mencho tried to assassinate Mexico City's police chief.
La seguridad del funcionario repelió la agresión, resultando 2 escoltas muertos, lográndose neutral.
Mexico City attack.
Look at this, kitted out motherfuckers. But always the question is, how do they know how to use it? A gun is only as good as how well you know how to use it, you know?
All the way up through the mid-90s, those were the years of heightened gang activities. So drive-by shootings were nothing. You could literally turn your news on every day during those years and see a drive-by shooting. I mean, every day. We had a drive-by shooting to where that I participated in. I walked in the house and I remember seeing it on the news. I must have been about 15 at that time. I remember my mom was on the phone and she was like, I'm so tired of these kids shooting one another and killing one another. And I remember thinking to myself,
Oh, by the way, I completely forgot to say, congratulations, chat, for 10,000 followers strong. We have grown into a borderline cartel, and it would not be possible without you, my beautiful, beautiful cartel mobsters, okay? You got the cartel up in here. I actually look like I'm from a cartel right now. Yes, we will find and kill every single other Twitch streamer that dares talk to the police about the Yugobne cartel. Do you understand me? Takes out gun, starts whipping it around. Mentions the live leak fucking chainsaw video. But yeah, congratulations. Thank you very kindly for all of you. 10,000 child soldiers. I am proud. I am proud. We can go and overturn a small developing nation tomorrow.
So, like, man, she has no idea that I was just in this situation.
Yes, Eduardo. The mods are my underbosses, and the subs are my capos. Okay.
She never found out about it, but I just remembered the way that I felt listening to her on the phone, telling her friend, like, man, these kids need to stop this, and this is crazy. And there's another situation to where we were getting ready to go out on what they call Sunday Fun Day, when all the lowriders, all the motorcycle clubs, all the car clubs, all the gang members, that's like the one day to where all the gang members, enemies, everybody
Here's a 3-minute
congregate in one area on Crenshaw Boulevard.
Wonderful, a new child soldier, subscriber.
And usually when you see cars pull up in the corner with no...
Thank you very much, Fried Slice from Texas. You are now officially one of my capos. The Texas operation looking good, boss. The head is in the mail. Salute, salute. I like you already.
lights or anything like that. You know that's a sign of something that's going to happen. And all you see was guns come out the window.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a Yugopnik sub, a Yugopnik capo now, you get to call yourself.
Everybody just got to shooting at everybody. And we all just scattered like ants. Just everybody screaming, hollering, running, scattering, because no one had guns actually on their person at the time. One of my big homeboys, he was very known. He had got hit in the face because they shot with a 12 gauge, and they had buckled.
Did you notice that? Did you notice that? Did you notice that? Watch again.
No, he had got hit in the face because they shot with a 12 gauge.
He was a real?
And they had buckshots.
Wait.
But it didn't kill him because they weren't shot at close range. Luckily, nobody got on their person at the time. One of my big homeboys.
Here, this part. He was and then he switches.
He was very known. He had got hit in the
He was very known. Remembered he's on Business Insider.
face because they shot with a 12 gauge, and they had buckshots, but it didn't kill them because they weren't shot at close range. Luckily, nobody got killed. The Crips were founded in the 60s, and by Raymond Washington. He formed the East Side Crips, which is on the east side of LA. Tiki Williams formed the West Side Crips, and through those two different foundations, different sets start to evolve. Different areas, the Hoovers, the East Coast, the Rolling 60s, the Menlos, all these different sets. The object and the goal was to keep this side of LA safe. But, as usual, things escalated, things multiplied, and violence became happened. When Raymond Washington got killed, that's what caused the division. That's when Crippin became divided between the East and the West, and different things started happening in different subsets, and it just became like a disease.
Man, Crips are literally Yugoslavia, bro. But no, okay, let's do some commentary. So, criminal organizations. Criminal organizations de facto are in no shape or form different to how hyper-hierarchical corporate culture functions. only because they are born out of areas with immense poverty and lack of access to any sort of work, any sort of financial stability, in areas that have been completely forgotten by both the state and the corporate state. Individuals there still don't want to live like dogs. So they result to the only option that they have left to them, and that is alternative means of securing wealth. Now, what kind of company can you create in an extremely poor neighborhood? What kind of company? You can't really make any money by selling them diapers and Coca-Cola, etc., because there are corner shops. You can't really give them fast credit because there's already legal companies that are doing this. You can't really open a casino because you don't have enough casinos to do that. So what can you do? What is rife in places where people don't see any meaning to life anymore? Yes, my children, narcotics. So you found your company and you sell that very specific product in that specific area. But because you exist outside of the legal structure of a state, you need to protect your own interests in different ways. The same way, no corporation would be able to continue to operate without the monopoly on violence, which is given to the capitalist state, specifically to the capitalist police officer, which will protect the interest of private property owners. You need to protect your own private property, in this case, large amounts of drugs, storage spaces in which you keep those drugs, and most importantly, the distribution system of said narcotics. The only reason you're selling drugs is because that's the only thing that you can make a real buck out of in an environment where nothing else will really sell. So you create your own hierarchy, your own structure, which at the end of the day operates the same way a corporate entity operates. Just also murder is involved, which very often is involved in corporations as well, but in this case, murder is involved. Instead of creating an HR department, you have a few dudes that recruit. Instead of creating a marketing department, you have specific types of dealers that know where to go, who to sell to, who to give some shit for free so they get hooked, etc., etc. And instead of lawyers, you have triggermen, okay? Always remember that any criminal organization that you can think of is simply a corporation that is working outside of the confines of a protected private property, meaning outside of the confines of what the capitalist state is willing to put effort in to protect. So they have to protect it themselves. If any sort of regulation that protects everyday people, workers, or just consumers in general was to be removed from the equation, absolutely every single corporation would function the same way that narco cartels function, that the Russian mob functions, that Crips and Bloods function. Criminal organizations are nothing more and nothing less than corporations existing outside of the structured vacuum of what is defined by capitalists as the real way that we should do it, the legal way we should do it. That's it. As simple as that.
Jeez. One Crip set betrayed this Crip set, and then it just caused a never-ending feud.
The unprotected private
Bloods
sector.
Used to be the main rivals of the Crips. But now there's just as many Crips are against one another than there are Bloods. A lot of Crips and Bloods have become allies because they share the same common Crip enemy. For example, the A-Trade Gangster Crips, they have a peace treaty going on with the Inglewood Family Bloods. And that's because their borderline is connected right next to one another. So since our neighborhoods are so close to one another, you got to come through my neighborhood to get home. I got to come to your neighborhood to get home. Let's make this a blood-free zone. No violence. Not saying that we're homeboys or we're just a close hood, but let's keep the peace between this dynamic, between this area. The beef between the 6'5" Menlo Crips and the Hoover Crips, it goes way back. We actually all grew up together and went to school together. We became one of the biggest enemies to the Hoovers because our sets are so close to one another. To get to the Hoover hood, you got to come through our hood. You know what I'm saying? And so for us to get to other parts of the city, we got to go through the Hoover hood.
But you've had gangs that quite literally, because they're so closely knit to the communities outside of which, they're so closely connected to the communities that have kind of birthed them, that as compared to like soulless corporations that operate globally, they feel some sense of loyalty to their own neighborhood and will go out of their way to help out here and there, here and there, here and there. But as time passes, the profit motive completely overtakes that, and it's no longer about us together as a neighborhood finding alternative ways so that we can all get richer and mutually support ourselves in this illegal activity that we're pursuing. You know, it might start out like that, but eventually, when enough money is at play and when more and more power is condensed in the hands of fewer and fewer people at the leadership position of particular gangs, the whole community spiel immediately flies out the window. They continue the community spiel so that the community doesn't rat them out, etc., but it no longer is about your fellow neighbor from down the street. It's about how to get your fellow neighbor down the street either hooked on the drug that you're selling, or to the gun that you're selling him, or whatever the fuck is your spiel.
I was born and raised in South Central LA all my life. Had a stepfather in my life that taught me how to be a man and different things, but for the most part, I was raised by a strong single mother. Usually in the black neighborhoods, when kids that come from single parent homes like that, they usually get caught up in these streets because your mom is out working, trying to make a living for you, provide for you. While she's at work, you're out there running the streets, doing shit that you know you're not supposed to be doing. And that's pretty much how I started it. I was about 10 when I first.
But because of the environment I specifically grown up in, and more particularly because of acquaintances that I have that do, I'm not going to mention what kind of things to, how should I put this, to make a living, I can't find it in myself to judge them, but not to judge somebody who's working for a megacorp that is arguably doing greater net damage on both my community and all sorts of communities all around the world. Again, these are people from the most disenfranchised places on earth that are trying to basically survive. And we always need to look at the material context that motivated them to do this, the systematic analysis, the systematic problems that have led them to this sort of lifestyle, and not concentrate on idiotic concepts like culture or race or them just being inherently violent, etc., etc. Can't believe I even need to say this, but you get my point.
Start hanging around them. I knew them very well. It comes down to, hey, you know,
dude, I'd much rather have a beer with somebody who fucking sells cocaine than somebody that works for the oil industry. That's all I'm saying.
You've been hanging around us a lot. Been chilling a lot. You from the hood. You know, just make it official. You know, and making it official means getting jumped in or doing something to be a member of the gang. Can be anything from you fighting one person, sometimes 4 or 5 persons. It's to see how you handle yourself. It's to see what type of skills you have. If you get into one of these type situations, you know, can you stand your ground and hold your own, whether you get beat up or not? You have to know how to fight back. You got to be a monster to be a member of any gang, but particularly the Crips, you better be a monster.
And in a gang, quote unquote, being a monster involves incredible amounts of physical violence. In a corporate structure where violence is not allowed, you have to be a monster in the office space in a different way. It just readjusts. But the way the corporate hierarchy or the mob hierarchy or the gang hierarchy works, at the end of the day, is the same. It's just eating the weaker ones so that you grow bigger and grow bigger and grow bigger and elevate yourself through the echelons of the hierarchy. The only difference is what's allowed to be done. If we allow corporate sharks to off each other, they're going to off each other. They're definitely going to off each other.
The word crip was really originally meant community, resistance, and progress. It was a way to bring the community, to uplift the community, to protect the community. Of course, they took on a moniker and the appearance of a gang because, according to the dictionary, a group of 5 or more people is considered a gang. To be a crip, you have to carry yourself a certain way. You have to walk a certain way. But for me, the allure was I love the color blue, and they wore blue rags. They wore blue jeans. They wore blue belts. They wore blue Chuck Taylors. The dress code for me back when I was an active crip in the 90s, in the early 80s, it was definitely 501 Levi jeans, creased. I would go buy a can of starch and literally spend about an hour ironing my pants, layering the starch to a point to where before I even put my pants on, I could stand them up. Crips wore K-Swiss because it was an acronym. It was actually a disrespectful term towards the Bloods. It was called K-Swiss stood for Kill Slavs When I See Some. Slavs is a disrespectful term towards the Bloods. If you wasn't a Crip, you couldn't Crip walk.
For 1 second, I was like, kill Slavs when you see them? I'm like, what did we do to you? God damn it, bro. What the fuck?
If you wasn't a Crip, you didn't know how to Crip walk. And so to learn how to Crip walk and to actually perfect something like that was like a badge of honor. It's a cool thing. It's when you look at it, the feet movement, the way they dance, the way they do it, the way they incorporate certain moves, along with the hand sign.
And in a corporate structure is the way you talk, again, the way you dress, depending on if you're at the absolute bottom, we make you wear those silly little McDonald's hats and Burger King uniforms. If you're a bit of a higher rank based on what your income is, we're going to allow you some business casual, then your upper management, then your proper fucking suit and tie, then your fucking leadership, then everybody notices just how much money you've spent on your fucking thing because they also spend it on the fucking thing. So you gotta always up your game and just how crisp and expensive that Italian cut is, my man.
And hand signals, words that you Crips usually use, which is
the reason I wanted to cover this is just to show you that it's basically the same as the corporate structure. It only allows active violence amongst the members, but there's not really any difference other than that.
The lingo was, of course, cuz everything we say would start with a C. If you had to say burger, you say Kurger. If you say sitch. It's just different things that you could replace the B with a C, you would do it. And that was the same thing with the Bloods. Anything with a C, they wanted to eliminate. And it may sound strange, and people might be, no, that's stupid. Y'all sound stupid. That was our language. That was the way that we talked. We understood it, and that's all that matters. And if you disrespect us and tell us it sounds stupid, you might get your ass whipped. Of course, they throw up the C. The C is just, you just take your hands, you make a C with your hand. And now you're set, your actual neighborhood, your Crip neighborhood, like the 60s, they have their signs. The Hoovers, they have their signs. The Menlos, they have their signs. You're going to throw up that sign to let people know that you're actually from that set, you're from that neighborhood. We threw up the M. It was just an M. You just take your hands across it, which is just how Ice Cube throw up the W. When he's in concert and taking pictures, Snoop Dogg throws up the W. You just turn it upside down and you throw up the M. Gang graffiti is a big part of the Crips. People that are coming in there, they know when they see that on the wall, the Rolling 60 Crips or the Menlo Crips or the 5-5 Crips, they know we're entering this gang. This is their neighborhood. The gang structure is not so much organized like the mafia with underbosses and bosses and stuff like that. We didn't give titles like that. But people automatically knew who the OGs were, who the double OGs were, who the big homies was, and who was ranked over who. The double OG is usually one of the big homies that has put in more work than you can imagine. He's done it all. Killed, robbed, made money, been to jail. You name it, he's done it. Usually 50s, 60s, higher age, they were around in the 70s, in the 80s when gangbanging really just exploded. They were at the top of their game. An OG really falls not too much different from a double OG, except that he may be a little younger, may have done a little less other crimes. Then you have some of the OGs that have turned their lives around, and they just want to live life, have a family, have wife and kids, and they getting money, making money the legal way.
Hey, ZFIH, what's up? What's up?
What makes them OG is the fact that they're talking to the little homies, to the young homies, showing them and explaining to them how they were able to do this. Street soldier is exactly what that sounds like. A street soldier is going to go out there and put in that work for the OG, for the double OG, for the little homies, or just for the set, period. A street soldier has no limits. He's going to go out there and do what he has to do, no matter what. The little homies are usually, of course, what they sound like. The little
I'm not looking at my phone. I have a display down here. That's what I'm looking at.
homies that's looking up to the big homies. They're going to imitate, they're going to copy everything that the big homies do. And if the big homies is constantly going to jail, robbing people, shooting people, killing people, the little homies going to follow suit at some point. My main thing was always to look out for my big homie, whoever called me, they big homie, and make sure that he was taken care of, and vice versa, because he does the same for me. He don't have to, but he does. I started out selling weed in middle school, and then moved to crack cocaine and robbing. I did robberies. That was my way mostly of making money.
Yeah, it becomes like a fucking snowball effect. They get you in slow, and then they work you into more complicated operations. I wonder if this is the same in corporate structure. Oh, wait, it is.
And keep the money in my pocket. The big homies had the big dope, and they'll issue it out to the younger homies. They'll issue it down to the guys to the next level. And it was a way for everybody from the big homies.
Lol, this is so funny. Japan to admit 820,000 foreigners. Yeah, that was a great conversation. Thank you very kindly to this gentleman. I think we said enough that can be said about crime, etc., etc. Japan to admit 820,000 foreigners in transportation. By the way, send me any links of anything you would like me to cover. Japan to admit 820,000 for any tweets or any videos or any documentaries, etc., etc. Just nothing longer than 30 minutes. Japan to admit 820,000 foreigners in transportation logistics sectors to ease current regulations. And look at the fucking comments, man. My white boys are suffering. My white boys are suffering, even though this indirectly says that the white boys can be allowed into the country. Rudolph, mistake. This time next year, they'll witness population growth from higher birth rate. F, rest in peace, Japan. I'm glad I went this year. God, how convenient that Abe was shot and then all this started happening suddenly out of nowhere. Fancy that. Immigrants have never been a good solution to anything. You will regret this. 178 likes. Almost as many as the post itself. Twitter is so fucking cooked, dude. 9/11 for people who don't shower. Okay, thank you. Somebody normal. Their society is not ready to combat the negative effects of diversity. I weep for their nation. Finally facing the reality of their negative demographics. China is another country on the brink despite their huge population. The great replacement is coming to Japan. Crime will skyrocket in their country. Funny how y'all so oppressed and the horrible crimes brown people are committing is existing near you. Oh, dude, this fucking white people 9/11. Weebs. Oh, I love you, weebs. Aren't the vast majority of immigrants to Japan other East and Southeast Asia? Yes, they are, dude. Autistic train weebs eating good. Big mistake. Good luck, Japan. People who are most concerned about this and this. Oh, I'm so here for this. I'm so here for this. But my Japan will be, but your Japan will get brown. My Japan will get brown. Oh God, absolutely legendary. Oh, ay. Free scrolling to Twitter because I'm absolutely masochistic. And thank you, Cabbage Spilla, for the gifted sub, which reminds me that an ad is going to play in exactly 4 minutes. If you would like to not watch it, be like Cabbage Spilla. Spill some cabbage by becoming a sub for free through Prime or for $5 a month. Thank you. Oh, this is legendary. The fucking.
We know that.
Why isn't she just dead yet?
It is.
Isn't she like 900?
Upset that those are the two choices.
Get over yourself. Those are the two choices.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? And
yeah,
and
good.
You know, it's kind of like.
Dude, who said it? Thank you, ZPH, for the 500 bits. Sub with Pride Gamers. Absolutely. Dude, Hillary is like a Democrat, like a Republican kryptonite, like a kryptonite against the Dems. That whenever Hillary Clinton speaks, at least 10,000 people choose not to vote for the Democrats.
One is old and effective and compassionate, has a heart, and really cares about people.
Has a heart. 35,000+ dead Palestinians. If that's having a heart, then I'm like a fucking Warhammer super soldier. I have 3, bro. Thank you, Master Kenji, for the gifted sub, my baby. Yeah, and the train has started. Let's go choo-choo, motherfucker. Let's go choo-choo.
Old and has been charged with 91 felonies.
And the other one is helping your country actively participate in a genocide by sending the bombs and infrastructure necessary to make that genocide happen. But remember, other man felonies and other man very fat and orange. Remember. Thank you, Kit Litzo, for another gifted sub. Absolutely beautiful, saving people from ads every day, 1 bit at a time. She really thought she said something. Thank you, Rogo Flight, for the 40 bits.
I don't understand why this is even a hard choice, really. I don't understand it. But we have to go through the election, and hopefully people will.
And thank you, Kid Lizzo, for the additional 100 bits. She does not understand why this is a hard question. Well, to many it isn't, because they don't understand that we need to choose the lesser evil while having a conversation about pushing the Dems further left. Yes, that is exactly how you're going to push the Dems further left, by continuing this shit. And thank you, Kev Dog, for the 5 gifted subs. We're on a roll up in this motherfucker. I just pull up a picture of Hillary Clinton and you throw subs at me because you have to get some dopamine. Otherwise, you will lose your mind looking at this face and hearing this mouth. Over on the D program, we actually watched one of her fucking, master classes. I really suggest checking out that episode if you really want to know exactly how cringe this lady is. And thank you, Master Kenshi. We are on a roll and close to 1,100 subs. That might actually bring you the cat book, okay?
Realize what's at stake because
the OGs that know the cat book know the cat book.
It's an existential.
Thank you also, Kit Litzo, for the 55 bits. Absolutely beautiful. Pushing this hype train one movement at a time. Trains have had it bad ever since World War II, but over here we are taking it back.
Question. What kind of country we're going to have, what kind of democracy we're going to have, and people.
You get the cat book when we reach 10,100 subs. That's when you get the cat book, as I said. And thank you very much for Hey Hachiro 504 for the 3 gifted subs. Thank you, my beautiful, beautiful soul.
Blow that off.
We're getting closer and closer.
Because it's not like existential. What kind of country we're going to have, what kind of democracy we're going to have, and people who blow that off are.
And thank you very kindly from Life Dinosaur for the 5 gifted subs, and to Lucid Fox, always the OG. Dude, Lucid Fox, why did you just stop streaming? I was planning on fucking raiding you for the first time, man. I want to our schedules are so fucked. I want to raid you, dude. Please shout out to Lucid Fox. I hope you had a great stream. Like always, it's a miss. Allow me to do this to you, okay? And Goose Major giving it to the beautiful people over from Lucid Fox. Whoever in chat does not know about Lucid Fox, you should feel very bad and go check out their beautiful, beautiful work. Thank you kindly, thank you kindly. So Goose Major, thank you for the 5. Life of Dinosaur, thank you for the 5. And again, all left flank vets now raided. Welcome everybody, 2 raids at a ka-ka-ka-ka. You're walking in right as we are looking at the good old king of the lib mentality, Hillary. And yes, I have to wear glasses to protect myself from her radioactive persona, from her radioactive afterglow, okay? All women have a beautiful afterglow, but Hillary is not a woman. She is literally a lizard from the depths of hell. Thank you, Tsamiva, for the resub. Welcome back, beautiful. Chinese balloons. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much, everybody. Go check out Left left flank vets, also a brilliant comrade. I need to pay you back for all these raids for sure. And thank you Abishi for the 5 gifted subs, and thank you ZFIH for the 2 gifted subs. Truly, what a community we have built here, encouraging all these beautiful comrades to stay. I feel good, and you should feel good. But now I'm going to ruin this feeling of quote-unquote good by continuing to talk about Hillary Clinton.
I don't understand why this is even a hard choice, really.
Yeah, the decision between Hitler 1 and Hitler 2, as boring as the joke is very much a hard decision. And thank you, Yana Gibashi, for the other 5 gifted subs. I guess you really like me looking at Hillary Clinton. Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
I don't understand it, but we have to go through the election, and hopefully people will realize what's at stake, because it's an existential question.
It's an existential question. It's additionally existential for all the Palestinian people in Gaza, because one will hit them with a lot of bombs and the other one will hit them with 1% less bombs. Remember that with Biden, there will be gay women piloting the planes, delivering armaments to the good old US of A, 51st state of Israel. Thank you, Tsamiva, for another gifted sub. You legends are so cool. We are at an 89% to beat my fucking record when it comes to trains. I couldn't be prouder. Turns out it's
Wonderful.
smart to stream during these hours, eh? Europeans, Asians, Africans, and Australians, as usually, dominating, cucking, quite literally, my American chat, okay? Then you ask me, how can I not be biased? And thank you very much, Crazy Fist, for the 5 gifted community subs. Jesus Christ. Now at this point, I'm turning into those fucking TikTok guys that are just looking at the screen and are like, yes, ooh, yes, ooh, thank you, ooh, butterfly, ooh, mustache, ooh, thank you, Sofrina Zero, mustache, ooh, thank you for 5 gifted subs, mustache, ooh, glasses, ooh, thank you for the 5 gifted subs, mustache, about to beat your last recent record, 76%, keep up the support. I don't know, how do I hype you? Mustache, feet. Jesus, my sock was dirty. I need to vacuum. Yes, machete. Where is machete? Machete. Yes, machete. Ooh, mustache. Ooh, glasses. Ooh, machete. And then they go quiet when the donations stop and they just look at the screen. Ooh, machete, mustache. Okay, I can't. My brain is rotting. My brain is so fucking. What's the term? I bluffed you, and you didn't jump at the option of not wanting to sit quietly. Oh, okay, no. Machete, ooh, glasses, ooh, glasses, ooh, machete, glasses, ooh, machete, glasses, ooh. Thank you, Yanagibashi, for the 5 additional gifted subs, and we have succeeded in defeating our last record. I love how all the raiders that walked in here, they were like, why the fuck did 2 beautiful people like Lucid Fox and left flank vets fucking raid this guy? He's a fucking TikTok degenerate, okay? Trust me, beautiful raiders, this is not what we usually do here, okay? I promise. But thank you so kindly, Yanagibashi, and thank you for beating the motherfucking record. That is very cool. Okay, that's cool. I like it. It is funny things that pop on screen and don't really matter at all in the larger scale of things, but God bless. But to further confuse our beautiful raiders, what does this call for? The usual ones here know. Cat book, baby. Cat book. Oh, yes. The OGs know. Cat book up in here. So we need to play our song and we need to look at our cats. And in 3, 2, 1, let us go, baby!
天上太阳风呀风砰砰的，其中太阳是矛盾动的，看看到我们的结伴呢，这里本身当家做主人，咿呀咿嘿哟，呀呀嘿哟哇，这里本身当家做主人。
We come to another experience of looking at cats from a book and doing material analysis on what we see in those pictures. Yes, indeed. Oh wait, why is it playing so fast? No, 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 no. And what is the first cat who shall get out of the loot box? Two beautiful cats, a cat and a dog sleeping as they class collaborated to destroy the human bourgeois overlord. Next we have... Wait, you see this one? Next, we have a young cat exiting the forests of lack of class consciousness and moving closer and closer to understanding oppression at the hand of the human dog. And next week, we have the same cat after many years of experience, understanding that reformism is not the way. Only revolutionary mentality, organizing and participating in our communities is the true path to glory. And here we have the united front of cats slowly marching the way their Vietnamese human comrades once had when they were fighting the American imperialist dog towards great successes. This, my brothers and sisters and NBs, this is our future. Look at our cats, for they are superior to us. Look at them and be inspired. And the last picture you get for the day, as you see my nose, unfortunately, is no, the other way. I am stupid. And here we have, what do we have here? Here we have what cats will be able to do after communism is established. Catomism, to slay on the ground and do nothing. For we all know that communists, no matter cat, human or dog, at the end of the day, are lazy. Oh, what am I doing with my life, Jesus Christ? What am I doing with my life? Thank you very much, Kev Dog Marxist, for the 5 community subs. Thank you, Heihachiro, for the 4 community subs. And thank you, Dill User, for the 5 community subs. Jesus fucking Christ. Apologies if I've missed anybody. Okay. Communists are lazy, but communist cats are even lazier. Yes, indeed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, G-Webs, for the gifted sub. That is how we roll up in here. Early streams, fucking dominating, fucking eating it up. Not in my name. I know you're not giving these because you like me. I know you're only doing it for the cats, but I accept my place in this world as secondary to our feline overlords, okay? We serve the feline with our machete. And thank you, Comrade Lunchbox, for the gifted sub. Thank you very kindly. Ads continue to be snoozed. Very good. Okay. Now... I'll leave you with Hillary Clinton for one more time as I go drink water because I'm about to pass out from all this screaming. I cannot imagine what my fucking neighbors think of me. Like, I hope they don't speak English. But as we said while we were talking about commie blocks earlier, they probably can't hear me. Okay? They probably cannot hear me.
Yeah,
love that.
Right? And, you know, it's kind of like one is old and effective and compassionate, has a heart, and really cares about people. And one is old and has been charged with 91 felonies.
Yeah, okay.
I mean...
Okay, interesting.
I don't understand why this is even a hard choice, really. I
Yeah.
don't understand.
Yeah.
We have to go through the election, and hopefully people will realize what's at stake, because it's an existential question. What kind of country we're going to have, what kind of democracy we're going to have, and people who blow that off.
Are we going to have a democracy in which a not so representable man is doing imperialism and genocide? Or are we going to have one with a No, it's not even, like, you can't even push. That's what I've talked about all the time. Like, the main reason you could push Biden as a better candidate is to the lib, to the wealthy middle upper class, as you Americans like to say, lib, is because he was representable. But arguably, at least in the eyes of most of the international community, he's less representable than even Trump himself. Okay, the staircase thing, the mumbling, the kids touching my legs, etc., etc. But again, let's touch on this a bit. Even from the most liberal perspective, from the most let's say social democratic perspective, if you want the Democratic Party, which you have ingrained in yourself for some reason as a left-wing option, if you want it to become quote-unquote more left-wing, maybe voting for them as they've participated in something that has led to the death of over 35,000 civilians might not be the best way. Because if you vote for them, even as they're doing mass murder, not ignoring mass murder, participating in mass murder, the only thing they will learn from that is what? Even in that lib voting helps mentality. Even with that mentality, the only thing it will tell them is no matter what we do, these schmuck little cucks, these NPCs, these little fucking gnomes, gnome, I am a gnome, are always going to vote for us, okay? So even from that mentality, it is stupid. And thank you so much, Hey Chihiro, for the 10 gifted subs. Absolutely fucking insane. Absolutely insane, leading to becoming one of the top donors up in here with 20 subs at this point. Thank you so much, Hey Hachiro 504. Thank you. We are dominating today, okay? We are dominating. I think we were up by 100 subs, which is a 10% increase, okay? Level 9 emotes. We fucking level 9 train. Level 10 train. Oh, God. Level 10 train. Clap. Thank you. But yes, when it comes to this sort of electorism, I always find it a bit, different people are in different parts of the funnel. I always talk about the funnel. And some libs and even some conservatives can eventually be pushed towards class consciousness. And let's be honest, if we don't push them towards class consciousness, then we will have a movement with no representation whatsoever. So maybe sometimes you need to use those little silly words that they care so much about, such as representative democracy inside of the capitalist system. Okay? Sometimes you should and you have to use those words. Well, even when using those words, as I've previously stated, you will not be pushing the Democratic Party towards what you believe should be the basic principles on how your country should be run when you vote for them, as they're doing some of the worst shit that quite literally they've ever done, which is so impressive for America. Some of the worst shit you've ever done for the United States is pretty like up there, okay? So that's why I do encourage you, directly or indirectly, to reconsider the thought that putting in a ballot for a guy that has done nothing to stop this is maybe not the most ethical choice you can make. Avon the Immortal, I swear it's like the Democrats expected their voters to have beaten wife syndrome at this point and to just be constantly complacent in the Dems' constant disappointments and to just keep voting for their bullshit candidates. Yeah, this is a fucking classic. Onwards and upwards, exactly. Vote Cenk, absolutely vote Cenk. We will have the first vice president Twitch streamer. He will immediately put Hassan Abi in control. Hassan will then do a coup. He will kill his uncle, and he will take over the country. There you go. Okay, I found who to represent, who to support for when it comes to the coming U.S. elections. Vote for Cenk because it is actually a secret plot that I am now sharing with my exclusive chat, okay? Because you made me very happy. It is exclusive. It is a plot that Hassan himself told me, that after Cenk becomes president, Hassan Abi will be put in as vice president. Now, Hassan has not told Cenk that he will proceed to either imprison him on an island, Napoleon style, or actually kill his uncle and take over the country, installing a socialist Marxist-Leninist state in its place. It is the only path we have towards genuine freedom and liberation. Therefore, vote Cenk because you know why. Wink, wink. Okay. Will this affect his streaming? No, he will be president. He will be, no, it will affect his streaming. He's going to stop streaming and there's going to be more people to watch the rest of us, okay? Unless he gives me some sort of ministry position. I mean, I wouldn't say no if you know what I know. But yes, vote Cenk no matter what. Yugopnik for Secretary of State, Secretary of the Stream. There's going to be a whole ministry for video essayists and streamers. And I'm going to be complicated because they won't know which one to put me in, okay? I've gotten a Twitch partnership, so now I'm a respectable streamer. So maybe I'll go for that one. A vote for Cenk is a vote for dictatorship of the streaming proletariat. Streams all press conferences from Oval Office on Twitch. Yeah, dude, that would be like, Twitch would love this so much because that would pull Twitch directly out of the shithole that they find themselves in. It will be more watched than ever. Hassan proceeds to ban all TV, and all TV channels are just Twitch streams of himself. That is Yugopnik will head the movement to give UK to gamers and podcasters. That will be my first policy. We take all the class-conscious British people. I know there's probably 10 of them, and we give them free homes and so on all around the world. And we use the British island as a island gulag for all gamers, podcasters, people that go on cruise ships, people who have ever flown on a private jet, etc., etc. We just put them all there and allow them to live their lives whatever way they want. But we also put cameras there so that we have a reality TV show for the rest of us to watch. I'm betting the first discriminated class will be gamers, because compared to them, while being equally cringe, podcasters are very good manipulators. That meme about Joe Rogan, Mongolian leader, Joe Rogan, Mongolian Khan. This is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So, read with me, chat, okay? Joe Rogan is like some barbarian Khan from the steppes that took an interest in intellectual things, and his show is basically him bringing slightly nervous scholars and magicians to come before him to explain how the world works. Glasses man, you explain to Joe why sky big and how tree grow. But he will also believe almost anything you tell him, and only recently, in the past few years, does he clap back like, Tiny Hat Man say otherwise. Do you lie to Joe? Tiny Hat Man say, fat not bad for you, that sugar is enemy. So which is truth? Joe thinks you are wrong. And people just nervously go, oh, okay, I guess so. Joe spend many moons on horseback and training with bow and sword. But Joe also wonder why skyfire rise from mountains every morning. You will explain this to Joe. This is the best interpretation, even though it's from fucking 4chan, okay? From 4chan is about Tiny Hat Man, Glasses Man. Are there other ones? Joe Rogan is like some barbarian. There are some other ones. Jamie, pull up. Well, no, because brings the mic closer. Every 10 years, your cells in your body actually completely change. I was reading this article about how DMT can actually advance this process into only taking 6 years because your pineal gland, Jamie, could you get that article up? Yeah, but it's because your pineal glands can actually make your cells rejuvenate faster. Here we go. Looks over at screen. Look at that. Yeah, that chimp must be what? 400 pounds? Jesus, those things will tear you to shreds. Are one of the most influential people on the planet. The only guy that's as influential as this dude is fucking Tucker Carlson. This is the state we find ourselves in, chat. Okay, this is the state we find ourselves. Now going down a pipeline. We're continuing with Joe Rogan. Yeah, here's what I don't get, leans into Mike. When someone sends you a PDA virus with one of those syndicate uplinks, it's not a bomb, it's just a virus. So what? I want to know why our PDAs are designed to have the ability to explode in the first place. It just doesn't seem safe. Jamie, pull up a video on that one PDA accident, the space cadet orientation. Video of a huge explosion and faint mentions of Obama. Whoa, you see that? Honestly, I don't know what's more scary. That the syndicate can use our PDAs to explode, or that Nanotrasen rigged them that way from the get-go. You think they ever blow us up on purpose? This one is too niche. I have no idea what he's talking about. Okay. Other ones. Are there other ones? Are there other good ones? Watch Joe Rogan Experience. Self-insert as guest. Pause at certain points and answer his questions in my head. Oh, this is just 4chan degeneracy, okay? If you had to go on Joe Rogan to talk about trans... immediately, yeah, it's 4chan after all. I think we've milked. If you have any good links of Joe Rogan commentary, please send them my way. This is surprisingly entertaining. Okay? Be me. Be me. Dies of cringe. For clan. Even though, dude, I was raised on this. Okay? I was raised on this. My young communist days, okay? Lefty Paul. Now they have a Twitch channel if you want to go to a Twitter channel. So if you want to go to this instead of actual Lefty Paul, because, I mean, it's called leftist politically incorrect. This is where I grew up back in the day. And to this day, I have some of the people from Lefty Paul on my, what do you call it? On my Discord. But yeah, I can't browse this because it's just gonna be penises and very fucked up shit. I mean, it is 8chan. Okay, I like this recent Rogan meme edit.
So I went to.
Wait. Send me all your Rogan shit.
So I went to the beach that makes you old.
You went to the what?
The beach that makes you old.
The beach that makes you old?
Yeah, man, the beach that makes you old.
Excuse me?
I got to tell you about this beach. It made me old.
You have to know that's not possible.
Look at me, man. I'm old as hell. And it's because I went to the beach that makes you old.
There are a million reasons why you might look the way you look. I'm not going to entertain the idea that a beach could make you old.
Wait, actually, I think it's the rocks on the beach, not the beach itself. Something to do with the cliffs.
What are you talking about?
Had to swim through coral to get out.
Stop.
But I'm still old.
Enough. Let's say hypothetically that a beach could actually make you old.
The rocks.
The rocks. Let's say the rocks could make you old. How much of you is getting old? Does your metabolism speed up? Do you need to pee more frequently?
Man, listen.
Do your fingernails grow faster?
Man.
Your hair?
I don't know, man. I just got old.
Victor D&D, dude, I think I'm too high. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm finding it hard to believe. It doesn't hold together logically.
I don't know what to tell you. I wasn't old, and now I'm old. I think it was because I went to the beach that makes you old.
This is all pretty ridiculous.
You want to see for yourself?
Sure. Why not?
You can go to the beach if you want. But you'll get old.
I got it.
Look at how fucking old I am.
I'm not going to get old.
You will get old.
I won't.
You will.
The beach will not make me old.
Okay, man. But don't say I didn't warn you about getting old. Jamie, pull up the directions to the beach that makes you old.
I'm not going to get old on the beach.
Good luck, man.
Oh, wait. Where are the other ones you sent me? Spam the links. Joe interviews an alien. We're going down a pipeline, okay? Going down a pipeline. I don't care. Just for this, I think ChatGPT and all this AI shit is worth it. Just for this shit, okay?
Glablork, good to see you, man. You look fit. Yeah, thanks for having me, Joe. I'm a big fan. Yeah, I'm just happy our schedule's finally lined up. Yeah, I've been dipping in and out of your simulation of your universe for a while. Figured it was time to make the big reveal.
Okay, I meant like actual Joe Rogan edits, okay? Joe Rogan meets Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan meets Joe Rogan.
I'm a big fan of legalization. Yeah, obviously. Boom, and we're live. Yeah, you need it. You can't really just go au natural.
Yeah.
You can't.
I didn't want to fanboy out when I met you, but I'm a huge fan.
Dude.
Yeah. You like the edibles to go to sleep, right? Half a hit. That's what you need. Like just a little. Just where you like 10 of these accidentally. Not even accidentally. I did it on purpose. 1,000 milligrams of THC. No worries.
Makes you more aware.
Dude, I'm laughing at this, but me and my thumb friends talking about alcohol and different types of alcohol we've tried, literally the same fucking thing. Literally the fucking same thing. Dude, I almost went blind, but I saw colors. What the fuck you mean? Dude, They say they can sell you absinthe over the counter, dude. But I found a guy that sells actual absinthe, dude. Oh, fuck, dude. Are you blind, dude? No, dude. It's so good, dude. You're blue right now, dude. Whoa. Whoa. Didn't that kill Van Gogh? No, just cut off his ear. Whoa. Like, me off stream, literally.
Or considerate, yes. Thinking about more possibilities. I mean, that's what people call paranoia. There's just a lot of people that have this idea that pot smokers are dumb and lazy and a problem, and they don't understand. There's a lot of pot smokers like you or like me that work hard as fuck.
Same, dude, this is so relatable, Jesus Christ. Also, me and my bro sitting and excusing away our alcoholism as like, dude, I wouldn't be able to get through this capitalism shit without that ethanol. Man, life is so fucked up. If you don't pursue escapism of any form, then you don't see the world as fucked up as it is, and something might be actually more wrong with you than if you do pursue escapism. And alcohol is like the most honest form of escapism as compared to TikTok or overeating or obsessing over consumerism. Like literally, like incredible red flags of you have a problem, but you're lying to yourself on why you have a problem. By the way, I no longer have that much of a fucking problem with booze, as you can see when I drink on stream. Like, Jesus Christ.
And are just...
That's because my liver is this big, okay? This is my liver. I don't have a heart. I don't have a heart because all communists don't have hearts. But my liver is literally from my what do you call that thing above your dick? Thing above your dick. Thing above your dick. What do you call it? The pubic bone. From my pubic bone all up to my neck. That's my liver. You understand? From pubic bone to my neck is my liver. That is why never attempt to do things that I do, okay?
Adults.
I did get drunk once on stream, though. It was very weird. I was tired. I downed like half a bottle of vodka, which would probably kill half of you. But the usual for me, and I was like...
It's definitely not.
Yeah, I even put on the drinking mask. Oh, dude. Oh, don't remind me.
Crazy. No. It's marijuana. It's legal. It's good for you. Sitting up here with these jumbo sprays, the breast rank.
Other dick. Kid Litzel, you son of a...
It's the end of the world.
Oh, Jesus, I dropped an R-bomb then? Oh, Liskis, don't be an asshole. Don't remind me. I apologize. Oh, God.
Yeah, we smoke pot. It's okay. I'm going to be so high, I'm barely going to be able to talk. Yeah, this is a podcast. You can do anything. What milligram edibles are you taking? If you looked at all the zeros on that number, you wouldn't even be able to wrap your head around it. You'd be like, what? What's a billion? How many zeros is that? At least a million. How many trillions is in a billion? What? There's no way. When you smoke weed, do you ever get paranoid? Yeah. OMG, we're so alike. 100%. 100%. Yeah. When chimps attack people, they rip your dick off. And they're like, yeah, no, we don't trust you. Like, those muscles are like corded steel. They rip your dick off, they pull your eyes out. It's one of the things they do. They know what to attack. Did you ever see that, Jamie?
Thank you, Anonymous Gift Sub. That means that Xi Jinping has just given us money. That means we must salute the Chinese state, for we all know we are not sponsored by Soros, only by Xi Jinping himself. Thank you, Xi Jinping. Thanks, Xi Jinping, one more time. Where is this? There you go.
Does happen sometimes. You ever seen what one looks like without their hair? What do you got, Jamie? Look at this. Jesus Christ. Look at his balls. Jesus
Dude,
Christ.
If you want the ultimate motivation, what was this guy's name? Bert, what was his last name? Comedian Bert Kreischer. Jesus, German names. Bert Kreischer, why I drink. If you ever think of not drinking and you want to motivate yourself to drink, like if you're a toxic human being like myself, this is the video. This is the video, okay? This is the video.
I will always make sure that I can keep...
Booze, don't you? You love to drink.
I do.
You booze till you
Just listen to this.
Dude, let me tell you something.
And I agree. The most fucked up thing is I agree. Not fucked up. No, fuck it. Fuck it. I'm healthy. I go to checkups. I'm good. This. Thank you, Xi Jinping, for one more.
I will never quit drinking. I will never quit drinking. I will always make sure that I can keep my body healthy enough so that I can always drink. I love seeing a sunrise with a cocktail, seeing a sunset with a cocktail, having friends walk into your house with a bottle of wine, getting on a plane. Can I get you something? Double Jack on the rocks.
Adventure.
Lots of rocks. I love the moment someone says, hey, we should get a drink. And you're not supposed to. That feeling, it's like a first kiss. You don't get that first kisses when you're married. You get to have those first drinks. At a brunch, someone goes, should we do mimosas? And then the waiter goes, actually, we have bottomless mimosas. And you're like, this is gonna be the best day ever.
Dude, you just hyped me the fuck up.
And in a better system, adventure would be around every corner. Unfortunately, in this one, we need to forget what awaits us on the next day. And that is why alcohol gives us adventure. It lets us roam the streets and do crazy shit that we would have never done. Okay? Because it removes the constraints that are not natural, but are put on us because we fucking digested this disgusting fucking bourgeois culture, mate, in our fucking bodies, and the ethanol makes us piss it out. Quite literally. But yes, this is what the, this is what it opens.
Christ, look at the size of the sack on that guy. That's a chimp with mange. That's what that is, or some sort of a disease where his hair falls off, where you really see their anatomy. We look at that and go, oh yeah, it's like a bodybuilder. No. That's a chimpanzee. I mean, that's our closest relative. If that thing decides to bite you, it's a wrap. Yeah.
Redfield, how do I refresh this thing? Where's the refresh button? Because I want to kill it.
People eat them, apparently. Oh, really? Apparently they hunt them in Arizona. Huh. Yeah. I mean, after seeing this, it's just like, I don't think I can hunt that. I'd have to be pretty hungry to eat one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't X5 on a Mac. Next time you'll see the emoji.
Twice the size of an elk. They're giant. I've shot a moose. Really? I ate it. Holy shit. I'm really good at that. Yeah. Moose is fantastic. Moose and elk are real similar. It's got an amazing taste to it. Yeah. They scream, man, like a Lord of the Rings sound. It's like... Craziest animal of all time. Look, there's people that eat carnivore diet. This is the most recent one where they only eat meat. Somebody went to your page and it says, paleo and lifestyle expert. As soon as you have that word paleo, people go, oh, fuck. Well, paleo.
And that is the beauty of like non-rapey and non-toxic bro culture. If you can just be a bro while removing all of that, is I will literally sit down with one of my friends and like, oh, what have you been doing today? And they're like, dude, you need to do it. I'm like, what? He's like, shave your ass. I'm like, what? Shave your ass. What? Dude, I shaved my ass. Best thing I've ever done in my fucking life. Jesus Christ, it's so fucking smooth. Why? Dude, you shave your ass. Trust me. Literally a conversation had 4 days ago. On a Saturday, I think it was. It's amazing. It's like, do you really need therapy? Yes, you do need therapy. But do you really need therapy? Yes, of course you need therapy. But do you really need therapy when you have people that you can share everything with to this extent? Community is important. And sometimes, sadly, bros have better communities than, everybody else. Unfortunately, a lot of bros use that to push each other into doing very bad things, which you should not do. But here we are representatives of advanced class conscious intersectional broness, okay?
Paleo is real simple. It's not going to do any damage. Paleo is just real food. Paleo just means no grain and no rice. That's all it means. But just no preservatives, just meat, chicken, fish, vegetables. Meat, chicken, fish, vegetables, there's nothing wrong with that. There's not. How about a ball of meat that gives you butter?
Exactly, Balkanski spoon.
Oh, no.
I love my bros, it's goon bros.
One day.
Are you really a bro? Even goon with the bro.
Did you see Ex Machina? Yeah.
The electrical
it was
broness.
Like the happiest moment of my life. It's like, it's so inspirational.
Like, women in chat, okay? This, I can talk about cis men because I'm a cis dude, okay? This is cis dudes conversations. 2 or 3 beers in, or a joint in. This is it, okay? This is it.
It's really good. Yeah.
Entropy, I can't restart Chatterino. It's gonna get booted out of my OBS, okay?
We're going to get to some virtual reality environment where it is so titanic.
Send me the president gaming edits. Jai Hussein, send it to me.
Bizarre and so
I have like 15 more minutes, and afterwards I record the deprogram, and I will have to leave you.
incredibly realistic that whatever the fuck happens in the regular world is going to lose its significance. It's going to slowly lose significance. So once we accept virtual reality, regular life is going to be so mundane because you're going to be able to create artificial environments like Avatar World, like you're flying through 2001: A Space Odyssey, you're hanging out with the chimps, you're going to have haptic suits on that give you feedback, it's going to be tied into your central nervous system, it's going to recreate smells and feels, and that's all going to happen. It's not a matter of whether it's going to happen, it's a matter of when is it going to happen. Did I ever show you the picture of the tree that was growing in my toilet pipe?
This is like looking
I
at
will never
myself.
sell out 50,000 people in Philadelphia like Kevin Hart did. So fuck this. No, don't go away! Don't go away! Ah, fuck!
Oh, this was good. This was very good. Okay, what the fuck is this? Dude, I want to just have like dank hour. Just you guys don't send me enough links, okay? And I'm gonna talk shit about chat. Chat, you don't send me enough fucking links. I want to have at least 1 hour of every stream where we watch it like this, because I'm sorry, this is so much fucking fun. I don't know if it's up to you, but it fucking is to me, okay? What is this? Biden, Trump, and Obama argue in a GTA Online lobby.
Hello? Anyone in the lobby have a mic?
I think I know this.
Yeah, sure.
What's
What's up?
But let's watch it.
Oh, I was just wondering if anyone could help me sell my cocaine business. It's full at the moment.
Sure, I can help you. Go ahead and invite me to your motorcycle club. What's your gamer tag?
Awesome, thanks. My gamer tag is X the Bidenator.
All right.
Unfortunately, we got the fucking post-op van mission. I can't stand this shit.
Oh, damn it. Yeah, that is the worst one. That's the reason I just dupe Deluxos for money nowadays. Oh, hey, watch out. Someone just went ghost. Organization is named MAGA 2024. Some Trump cocksucker, probably.
What the fuck? My shit just got orbed. Some fucker named Trump Daddy. What an absolute degenerate.
That's got to be some troll. No way, that's actually him.
No, not this. Zizek AI meme. I can't find it.
All right. Cocksucker, probably.
What the fuck? My shit just got orbed. Some fucker named Trump Daddy. What an absolute degenerate.
Phil, I will fucking... Pandas, who was it, you son of a bitch? You mother... I was nice. I was like, send me links. And you immediately make me regret it. You... What is this? Vic Berger presents Jim Baker's Buckets. What the fuck are you sending me? Oh, I thought I had brain rot. You guys are next level. Are you comfortable? Send me something in Hot Mulligan stickers of Brian. What are you fucking do? My chat is too unhinged for this. Too unhinged for this. Algeria Harlem Shake. I think I'm being trolled by my own chat right now, and it doesn't feel very comfortable. Son of a bitch. Oh. Okay, this is good. Thank you, whoever's link I clicked on.
Na poroge svijetništvo
25-го года существования советского правительства. Она заставила перестроить всю нашу работу на военный лад. Она превратила нашу страну в единый и всеобъемлющий тыл, обслуживающий фронт, обслуживающий нашу Красную Армию, наш военно-морской флот. Период мирного строительства кончился. Начался период освоительной войны с немецкими захватчиками.
Big spoon. Big fucking spoon. Oi, oi, oi.
Obama.
Oh my. God. Okay, I'm done. Okay. Ron
James.
When in doubt, always return to
How many liberals does it take to change a log by bulb? None! They're too busy! Agenda!
and with that, my beautiful, beautiful chatters, I shall leave you for the cause of the podcaster calls, and it must replace my streamer soul. As the only man who is both a YouTuber, a communist, a podcaster, and a Twitch streamer, I must balance between all those degenerate affiliations as a clown juggles balls in front of an audience. Hakeem and JT await me in the basement for us to cover an important topic for all our beautiful listeners. So, thank you very much for joining me. This was fucking great. I will continue to do at least one of these a week. I hope you had a decent time. I hope you learned something. But more importantly, I hope you had fun. For all of those currently in chat who have not clicked the follow button, what the fuck is wrong with you? How many of you will it take to put on a light bulb? I don't know, but probably many. Do click that button. Then go join my Discord. We have a beautiful 4,000 member community that is growing. It is a place where you get to meet like-minded, insane people like yourself and myself. And more importantly, get to keep up with when I do the show. Check out my Instagram. I'm not plugging my YouTube or my Twitch because Twitter, because you probably follow me there. I'm being very cocky right now, but you probably do. So Instagram is just Ugopnik, and Discord is just Discord. And most importantly, where I post my highlights is just Ugopnik Live. Okay, you gotta follow this.
Wonderful,
and then
a new
you will
child
be top
soldier,
tier,
subscriber.
top tier. And thank you very kindly to Andrew Manuel for the sub. Welcome, my beautiful. This is the link. Go and click subscribe, so whenever you miss a stream, you get to watch the good old highlights. With that being said, thank you, Pandas, Rob Russ, David Tavarish, Sean the Black, and Central Committee. I owe Rob many raids, so Rob it will be. Go and say hi to Rob. Make sure to send our love and spam all those beautiful fucking emojis that we have up in this motherfucker. Okay? Rob is a dear friend of the show and someone we respect and hold dearly here. So no bullying, or I come to your house and I eat your dog. Did it work? Yes, I think it worked. Go, have fun. I will see you tomorrow, actually, for the regularly scheduled stream, and most likely on Sunday. So see you tomorrow, all you beautiful sons of bitches. Go and enjoy your day. Thank you for joining me. Special thanks to my mods. Join my Discord, Ugopnik Live on YouTube, and my fucking cringe Instagram account. Thank you and bye. Mwah! This was awesome.